XboxEra podcast is powered by you, and if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as a thank you for your support, you get cool stuff and we get to keep doing what we do. Now let's get into it. Of the XboxEra podcast. I'm Sik Mechanico, and I'm joined as usual by Special Nick.
What's going on? We weren't on the screen for a second there.
Yeah, my Steamdeck just reverted to the 2 webcam instead of 3 on its own. As I pressed the button, I saw it go to 2 people. I'm like, why?
There was just nothing there except these little things. That was pretty funny.
Well, good. But did you say what's going on? But anyway, we're also joined this week. We're joined this week by, and yeah, we already ruined the joke before we came on air. What do you call a man with a spade on his head? It's Doug, aka Modern Warzone,
yes,
Call of Duty player and knowledge expert extraordinaire. Welcome,
Twitch streamer.
Hey, Thanks for having me. I do it all. A little bit of everything. So appreciate you guys having me on.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, and quite timely considering that all 3 of us, and I think in fact Jesse in the background there,
4 of us
doing the production stuff. We've all been playing Modern Warfare 2.
Yes.
We haven't loaded up the backwards compatible Modern Warfare 2, but of course we're talking the reboot of the reboot sequel to the
great marketing.
Isn't it effectively a reimagining?
Oh, God knows.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot because it's got some characters in it, but the story's different.
Yes, and they've recreated some of the original levels, but put them in different parts.
Yeah, it's got like the same core philosophies, like behind the storyline and everything, as the original did, but they just kind of changed the scenarios.
Yes.
Yeah, something.
But
like
I got dug on intentionally. Like he had reached out a while back, and I was like, "Yep, we'll we should organize something." And then I was like, "Oh, the game's coming out. Maybe that would be a good time to get him on."
Let me hit up Doug when he's at the most busy time of his career. Sounds about right.
Take 4 hours out of his day to hear Nick talk about Mario Odyssey or something. But Doug, for the benefit of folks that maybe only watch the XboxEra podcast, which I'm vain enough to think that there's at least 5 people watching right now that might be in that vein. Can you give the guys a rundown, the audience a rundown of what you do, how you got here, etc., etc.? Because you're pretty well known in the Call of Duty scene, right?
Yeah, at this point, I would say so. I try to be humble, but it's kind of hard to say. Like, if you are on social media and you try to keep up with Call of Duty at all, you've probably seen my name or profile picture somewhere before. I'll give you the really short story. So one day I was on Reddit, and I was going through looking for new things in Modern Warfare because I was trying to figure out meta guns and stuff like that. And I ended up coming across the post of, I don't know if you guys saw the news articles where Activision pursued suing a guy and went through Reddit to get his subpoena the man and everything.
I remember that.
I saw that original post and I screenshotted it and took a picture of it and tweeted it on my personal Twitter at the time. I woke up the next morning and I tagged all my friends in it because I was hype. I tagged all my friends in it, and then I woke up the next morning to my first ever DMCA, and I remember I like turned over to my wife, and I was like, "Oh shit, am I about to get sued?" Because I had never seen this stuff before. And then I go read through the DMCA, right, and it has to list the copyrighted material, and the copyrighted material was a game called it said standalone title Call of Duty Warzone, and I was like, and it said Activision Publishing Company. So then I went to Reddit again and was like, "Holy shit, this is real! It's real! Look, they're trying to get it off the internet." And then I got banned from the main subreddit for doing that because you weren't supposed to be talking about it yet, because Reddit mods are usually in on this stuff a little early.
Yeah.
And then I went to go make my own subreddit because my post ended up on like the top of the page for that day. And my original subreddit name was going to be COD Warzone. It was taken by those same Reddit mods. They already had it. And I just typed in Modern Warzone and it worked and it stuck. And then like 2 weeks later, I made a Twitter account to promote our Discord. And then I started posting the work that I was doing on the subreddit to go through all the leaks and stuff. I basically was like not an insider at the time. Like I just had a bunch of data miners and stuff giving me all the info you could possibly get. And I was trying to discern it and figure out what was right, what was wrong, what's placeholder, this. And then I'd make these big, mega threads of
Things
this is what's in the game. Yeah. And I'd be like, this is why this might, and that got popularized. And then I just kept going from there. And then one day, we were at 20,000 subs and I quit my job and decided to do it full time. I knew somebody who builds websites and they told me to build a website, and I built a website.
Wow.
And after that, and I think we're now at like 670,000 followers, and it's been 2 years and some change.
That's crazy.
Got pretty lucky when it came to that. Right after all the Reddit stuff, I did have some actual insiders and sources come out and reach out to me because they saw what I was doing. And it took a long time for people to believe that I wasn't just like clout chasing and making shit up. But
Nick knows all about that.
But here I am 2 years later. Everybody said I was lying about everything I said. I had a lot of misses because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I had never expected to be in this role, but I kind of just caught a big wave and rode it. And here I am.
It's always crazy when I see a number like, you're right, 670 or 1,000. You try and picture that in real scale, like picture it in a stadium or something. There's more, right? It's nuts. It's an insane number. And I know it's like a teeny infinitesimal part of the population of the planet, but in real terms, that's a massive number.
Yeah, the cool parts of it were like when I got started and I came home to my wife, I remember the first day we made the subreddit and I was like, "Babe, look, there's 100 people in my subreddit. This is fucking insane." And then we hit 1,000 and then we hit 10,000. And then I remember when I hit 100K on the Twitter, I just was like crying. Like I was like, this is insane. Like I couldn't. And now these numbers just kind of hit and I'm just like waiting on 1 million, like it just kind of, I don't know. It is weird how it happens.
It'll get there. It'll get there. It's weird. Twitter for us, I feel like it's slowing down a little bit. Like we're doing all the things, but it's really weird as a publication. We should probably be spending money on SEO and advertising and all sorts of things. And we're just a bunch of guys that are all volunteering to try and make something cool. And literally all flying by the seat of our pants. So we totally understand the riding that way. You're not alone. But it's a wicked story, and
I could definitely relate to a lot of that story.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the craziest part is where I'm at now that I do get invited to like events like COD Next, get to play Warzone early. I was one of 20 people invited to Infinity Ward to be the first people to play the multiplayer. When
That's
2 years ago I was on a blacklist and they banned my Twitch. So
it's quite the comeback.
Yeah, it took a lot. It took a lot to get there, but I'm there.
Wow, man, that's crazy. Well, look, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, and succinctly, we will segue rather nicely into what have we been playing this week, and I think the answer is pretty obvious. We've all been playing Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Now, we were chatting a little bit about this before we got online as to our thoughts. And look, for the benefits of the audience, because not everyone wants to fork out silly money to play the campaign early.
I know.
We will not talk. We will not talk spoilers. We will remain spoiler free, so you can listen and not worry too much. And if we feel like we need to say something, we'll speak in code. But I completed it earlier today, and it was quite good fun. Like I fell off the Call of Duty train personally. I kind of got a little bit fatigued, I suppose. After like, when was it? After Modern Warfare 3. The campaigns are fun and they are literally like playing through the rock or something like that. You know, like they're just they're just action movies. I switch my brain off and I just have fun. And I have to admit, there were bits in this campaign that had me laughing out loud at the ridiculousness of some of the set pieces. Like not laughing at it, but just how over the top and fun it was. So it definitely hit.
Loving it so far. Loving it. And I'm playing it on veteran as well. Like,
Man,
because I can't help myself. I can't help myself with the achievements. So with most, I'm like you though. Modern Warfare 3 was the last one where I sort of started to nope out because I was starting to not like the ones that weren't modern. I just like the modern ones. If they could just do modern all the time, I'd be more than happy. And then I basically didn't get another one after Modern Warfare 3 until a friend of mine gave me a code for Advanced Warfare. And Advanced Warfare, I'm so happy he gave me a code for that game because that is still one of the best COD campaigns ever. Advanced
Is that
Warfare.
The one with Kit Harington? Or is that Infinite
No, that's
Warfare?
the one with Kevin
Infinite
Spacey.
Warfare. Did you see my campaign tier list that I recently tweeted?
No.
I feel like you'd agree with it, Nick.
I think I did, and I remember because I've got one as well, which I need to make a video on because I used to do an article top 5, and the top 5 COD campaigns was one of the last ones I did because it happened around the time Modern Warfare 2019 came out, and I think I didn't have Infinite Warfare in there because I think you had Infinite Warfare near the top, didn't you?
It's my number one.
Yes, you did. That's right.
I've got a physical disc of that somewhere. I need to dig it out and put it in.
Everyone keeps saying it's good.
No, it's amazing. I had never played it until this year. I'm just like you guys. So most people think I'm just a COD simp and this is the only game I played. No, I've actually took a major hiatus from COD after I think it was MW3. Ghost came out, and I thought Ghost was just the biggest pile of shit ever. And I just dropped it after that. I didn't play Advanced Warfare when it came out, and I also didn't play Infinite Warfare. I tried BO3 for a while. But Infinite Warfare, man, I missed out on a great campaign. Amazing
everyone
campaign.
Says that. Everyone says
amazing. It does a great job at character development and getting you to literally care about people that you just met an hour ago. Whereas all the other COD games, the only people you care about are Mason, Hudson, and the typical main people. But this game just throws you into the middle of a whole new universe storyline, and the writing's good enough and the action's good enough to make you care about these characters. That's why I put it on top.
Interesting.
I'm gonna play it. Give me a
worth playing.
I feel like
make sure
I
you
need
do all
to
the
try
side
it
missions too.
I didn't even know there was side missions.
Yeah, it has like you can like choose where you go to different planets to do stuff. Make sure you do all of them.
Ooh,
they're all
great. Because I love sci-fi,
pieces.
so I'm surprised.
Interesting.
Like you go to Jupiter, Uranus, all types of different planets.
Wow. I was very glad though that guy my mate sent me a code for Advanced Warfare because Advanced Warfare's campaign is so goddamn good. Like I was like the multiplayer is straight up garbage, but the campaign was amazing.
Wasn't that a multiplayer where they added the crazy jump?
Yes,
like,
that was the
not
first
the mech
one.
suits or the
no, it was the double jump.
Exoskeleton.
Not quite tight.
You couldn't run on walls yet. Yeah,
yes,
but you can do everything else. Black Ops 3 was the run on walls one. Advanced Warfare was great. I had never played it until this year either. Kevin Spacey did a phenomenal job. As much of a piece of shit as he is.
It's such a good campaign. Yeah,
great
it's
villain.
Such a good campaign. But the problem with the multiplayer was that they added all these traversal options and double jump and all that stuff, but they didn't design the maps around it.
No.
And it was just terrible.
They had the worst spawns I'd ever seen.
Oh,
in a COD
yes,
game.
the
Like,
spawns
it was just,
were disgusting.
God, so bad.
The squad spawns have to be worse.
People. Oh my God. It's just, it was so bad. And I ended up buying World War II, believe it or not. COD World War II. I don't know why. I just gave in and I bought it. I did mind
too.
it.
That was my first comeback.
Yeah, same here. I didn't mind it. It was okay. And then, mate, Modern Warfare 2019 was just, that was special.
Pretty good. I put the new one in my top 5. I put the new one in my top 5. It's up there. It's it goes Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, or it goes Black Ops 1, MW2, and then Black Ops 2, and then I put MW2, the new one, right there.
Interesting.
Wow.
Right there after BO2.
I'm writing the review at the moment, and I'm not going to say the score on stream, like where I'm kind of hovering, but my my feel is I took a massive break from COD. And I feel like, I came back. I played 2019 Modern Warfare. I was like, yeah, this was really good. Like there was some really standout, like the night vision, small house clearing it out, like the atmosphere and the feel of that level design and how everyone went through it was amazing. Was impeccably done. And when I played Modern Warfare 2, I want to use a Halo analogy because that's the kind of jam that I like. Right? It felt like Reach felt. In that it was its own story, but it also was like a greatest hits of Halo levels. That's what I viewed Reach as. And Modern Warfare 2 feels to me like it does do a very good job at trying to keep things fresh and bringing in surprise mechanics out of nowhere that you're like, what? But it felt like a greatest hits thing. I was like, oh, this is like this level from the heyday, and oh, this is this level from the heyday, and it's like, and I kind of felt a little bit jaded by that, like I was like, I've done this. Like I've done it not as pretty looking, but I've done this. And that's kind of where I'm still deliberating on how I feel about it. So I'm going to digest it for a few days and go back and play some on Veteran and Realism. Because Realism removes the HUD, right? It removes the HUD. You die in one hit.
No, it's the same difficulty as Veteran, just no HUD.
Wow.
I'm playing it right now, and it's so much better than playing it on any other difficulty, in my opinion. It just feels better. It feels like that's how the game was made to be played. Even though it's hard and some parts are bullshit, like it's so immersive. But I get what you're saying, because I this year, about 6 months ago, I bought every Call of Duty game ever made on Battle.net. So I have literally all of them that have ever released on PC. And I played through every single campaign, every single one of them in 2 months' time. And I started to notice that every single game after a good game copied almost all of the mission styles and did the same things. And I get what you're saying, that Modern Warfare 2 feels like a greatest hits, but they do new things. They have stuff that's like Last of Us, and they really, really tried to do new things. And I get what your reference of clean house, because it felt like this entire campaign was almost designed around the concept of clearing buildings.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It hit just right for me. It hit just right. I gave it I don't know if I'm not supposed to say my score. I give it a 9. I give the story like a 6 and the rest a 10 or a 9 out of 10. Yeah, and that's enough to make up for the story.
Yeah, the story was just
it's
just I hate to interrupt. I think I need to very quickly restart OBS. Switch it to software.
Restart for a sec.
Yeah, it's not like these. It's AMD's drivers are just shit lately for hardware, so I'm gonna put it to CPU.
It's in top 5 for sure.
I got a bunch of shit from my tier list for having Advanced Warfare as high as I did, but I think if people go back and play it, you'd be real surprised. It's pretty damn good.
People found it weird in my article when I had Advanced Warfare up there in the top 5. I'm like, man, play that campaign. It is a seriously good campaign. But see, with Call of, what I love about Modern Warfare 2 at the moment is just how many stealth missions there are. Like, they have always been my favorite COD levels. All gillied up. The clear house one in Modern Warfare 2019, like, even though Call of Duty is known as being this Michael Bay-esque franchise where everything's very bombastic, and the stealth missions in COD games are the best.
Yeah, they really went hard on making that like a forefront of this game. That was something they talked about when I was in studio back in June. They were talking about how a lot of this game is going to be set at nighttime because of that reason. And a lot of it is. And I was worried about it at the time. I was like, but I think they did it just right. They teetered right on the edge of where it got fucking annoying, but they didn't go over that edge. There's that one mission alone, like you talked about, which is the annoying one. And it can get annoying. But on my second playthrough of it, now that I know how to do it, I got through it in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
On realism.
Really? So
that's interesting.
And I blame Veteran. Like, I'm wondering if I hate that driving mission so much because of Veteran. I wonder if it would be more enjoyable in Easy.
It's very hard on Veteran just because you don't get to really be in cover for most of the mission, and Veteran is just you insta die. I had somebody else tell me, a good friend of mine who's a streamer that gets a lot of viewers, he was telling me that he didn't think it was that great, and I was like, you played it on Veteran for your first playthrough. That's not really the experience they wanted people to have, and like incredibly frustrating experience to try to beat any COD game on Veteran.
Yep.
Yes.
That's not what you
man.
play to enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
I
I
will
played
say,
it too on
though,
regular.
I will say, though, progressively over the years, and Doug, you'd be one of the people to probably say yay or nay on this. I feel, as someone who has always played CODs on veteran, and generally first, I get the veteran run out of the way, I'm finding that the campaigns on veteran are getting easier and easier with each COD.
That's because they're making the regular campaign harder.
Yeah, I was surprised
That's
at the
what I
difficulty in
noticed.
regular. I was like,
Yes.
I shouldn't be dying right now.
I died a lot on regular. That's what I'm
Yeah.
shocked about on realism. I'm flying through it. I mean, I am dying, but I know when I'm dying and why I'm dying because I already played it on regular.
Yes. So Modern Warfare 2019, I haven't started my veteran run. I was just playing Modern Warfare on easy or regular, and I was dying a lot. I'm like, why am I dying so much on normal and easy? What's happening right now? So it turned me off trying veteran. I was like,
it's that realism aspect. They talked about it a bit in studio too, that like they didn't mention it a lot, but I could tell that this was one of the key focuses of their design. They really liked the thought process of immersive experiences as well as things that feel visceral. And when you die in just a couple of bullets and you have to actually like think about your life, it adds to that tension and immersion. And something that they talked about in studio was that they really like the clearing houses sections because they want the player to think in the way that a real soldier would think. Like when you go in this room, you don't know where anybody could be. You need to cut the pie. I remember they said that just like that. We really want to encourage players to play. Oh my God, the Call of Duty community will lose their mind if you use the word tactical. But they want people to play more tactical, and they want you to cut the pie and not just sprint into a room, dolphin dive, do a 360 no scope.
Yeah.
I can get that.
That's how I play it too. I love it. That's exactly
how
how
I'm
I
playing
play
it too, and I'm enjoying it now.
Yeah, it's great. I've been loving it. Like, because it's veteran, as everyone knows, with veteran, 1 bullet, 2 bullets, you're gone.
Yep.
So I'm trying to shoot through doors a lot more, through walls a lot more, and chuck flashbangs in there before I go in, and
or like some of the clean house sections where you actually are doing what you're talking about, clearing the house, and you're playing on that hard difficulty, and a guy pops out around the corner and shoots you before you can react. Well, now you're gonna go down that hallway, and what I was doing, I had a shotgun, and I was just blowing the entire door apart of every room. Like I was not taking a chance, and that's just something you wouldn't have if the game wasn't difficult. You just walk through and just blast a guy.
You're making me want to go back and play it on realism straight off the bat because I was going to load up veteran, but it sounds like realism might be more my jam. Just like
if you beat it on regular, there's no reason not to play realism. The only thing it does is take away your HUD and make the game that much more realistic.
Interesting.
Really?
I mean, you guys were talking about the driving level, right? And again, I don't want to give spoilers, so there's no story spoilers here. We're just talking mechanics, pure mechanics here.
I hate that.
You know, and I give them props for trying to do something new, but Call of Duty felt to me, this particular campaign as well, at its best when it was, you were moving and shooting, and anytime I had to do anything that felt like a new mechanic, it felt like it just hadn't had the 20 years of refinement that everything else has had. So like hopping from one vehicle to another felt really like, and I don't know if it's just me, and I didn't change the field of view. Normally I do because I was capturing footage for review.
I did.
I wanted to keep it super crisp and make sure the perf was there, etc. on Series X. So I left the FOV at default, which I think is 80. And
85.
I'm running, and I'm like, this feels like I'm running on the spot. Like it's so slow. And then you look across to the animation on your left, and the guy's like bolting across it. Like it just felt really weird. And I don't know why that is, but that driving mission is probably the one that I would be most daunted by doing on realism or veteran. Like, because you are not, as you say, you're not in cover. You're constantly. The upside down bit was cool though, right? That made me laugh out loud.
I know that everybody likes it for the Michael Bay effect, but I did not like that part. I was like, why?
It was really hard to hit.
I couldn't imagine if you're a person who's easily disoriented how you dealt with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it with no problem, but I was just thinking to myself, like, oh, this is hard to look at. I hope this part ends quickly.
I was both. I was like, so I had a mate sitting right here watching me do it. And like I think the biggest problem with that driving level is it just goes too long.
Yeah, it's just a bit too long. Just a bit too long.
And then it got to the upside down bit, and me and my mate are like, whoa, how cool is this? But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm getting dizzy. Like, this is really tricky to do. And you're just like, I didn't mind that part. It was a cool little twist to add some variety to that level. I thought it was good. I really liked it.
I thought.
Go on.
No, keep going. I was gonna say, not getting into spoilers for one of the last missions, but I thought what you were talking about when it comes to that gameplay that hasn't been polished or refined, in the alone mission where you're crafting shit and having to survive.
Yes.
I thought that, interestingly enough, those are mechanics for DMZ. That's like them trying to work on stuff.
I saw
like
the
that.
plates and stuff coming in as well.
All that stuff is them trying to make sure their systems are up to par, I guess.
Yeah.
I've totally lost my point.
You were talking about in the mechanics of the crafting and going into the backpack.
Yeah. I thought that it was frustrating in the alone level because the alone level simply lasts so long, and at the end you have to fight the bullshit armored enemies. Without that level would not have been a problem. Even though we were up against like 20 Shadow Company against just us. I thought that was really cool. It made me feel like a true member of Task Force 141 up until the last section.
Yeah.
But in the final mission, the sections where you're having to craft and all that, I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, it was a terrifying.
Did you think that was a good, little twist? I thought that was the more polished version of Alone.
Yes, it worked, but the only thing that I was like at this point, I guess my sense of disbelief was being challenged because I was like, come on, guys, it's one floor. You've all got guns and torches. Like I'm fucking running around with a suitcase. Like, come on.
I thought it was cool though. It was a bit of a different twist.
Cool. I think my favorite level has to be. Sorry, go on, Nick.
No, go. You were talking. Sorry.
That's right. My favorite level though, out of all of them, would probably have to be, I think, the prison. I really enjoyed the setup, the intro. It had lots of cool little timing bits. I won't spoil it, but it's a very cool mission. But I did see a lot of bugs. I don't know if you've had any perf issues, but I had some crazy bugs. I managed to get some really funny footage of it. So I'm on the sniper level. Let's just call it that. And
that was good.
Hoofing down, and there's two parts where the cars go, the really noisy cars, and everyone gets out and they're just walking. It doesn't matter where you go hide, they're walking roughly where you're going to be.
Right around you.
And then I turn the camera just a little bit and everything disappears. Like all the grass, all of the all of the NPCs, all of the cars, and there's just like a wheel. So I can kind of roughly know where the car is, but I can't see anyone. So I'm like, and I'm turning and they appear back. And I'm like this. So I'm trying to get forward.
I've had a couple of people. I've had a couple of random NPCs and enemies disappear like that. A couple, but that's it throughout the entire game.
So just because you brought this up, I found an Easter egg on that specific part that I haven't posted the video of yet. I always go through these campaigns and look for Easter eggs. Recently, when I did my replay throughs of the COD campaigns, I did Modern Warfare 3, and I found that Dr. Disrespect magazine that made headlines and stuff. You guys saw that?
I've heard of it, yeah.
No, there's a in one of the newsstands on one of the final levels in New York. There's all the devs have their own little thing, and there's one with the Dr. Disrespect logo when he was the community manager for Sledgehammer Games, and I tweeted that, and that one went pretty cool. But this one is just when those trucks are coming up, on the back on the license plate and on the front license plate it says 2009 AI. Because those AI are so dumb shit compared to the other ones. They're just gonna track you no matter where you go. They're gonna walk by you one time and then they're gonna leave. That's a dev making a joke about how dog shit the MW2 AI was. Because that was 2009.
Wow. There you go. That is an Easter egg as well. That's got some history behind it.
Yeah. When I saw it, I laughed because I didn't see it the first playthrough.
Yeah.
See, now I'm talking about it. I'm going to go through it again on realistic. Absolutely.
It's funny. Talking about AI, two things I observed about this game. One good, one bad. The bad on AI, your teammate AI in this appears to be extra annoying. It was so because I'm playing on veteran, I spent a lot of time having to wait till I got my life back. And your teammates don't do anything, right? But then what I was noticing, because you still see a little bit after you die, I'd die and then my teammates would take out the enemy that just killed me. They'd wait till I died before they did it. And I'm like, man.
Yeah, but that's the balance of getting you as the player to be the leading force and pushing forward and triggering the next checkpoint. And arguably that's one of the reasons I stopped enjoying COD so much, because it was so obvious where the boundary was. I can only, if I get to there and I just see that thing, then the spawns will change and my guys will finally push up and do their animations.
I will say though, that leads to my good thing about the COD campaigns now. I can't remember which COD was the first to do it. It might have actually been Modern Warfare 2019. So one of the things I hated about COD on Veteran was that if you didn't cross that tripwire that triggered the next scene, the enemies would just keep spawning endlessly.
That was horrible. It was horrible.
Yes.
That was the Veteran difficulty, was you had to withstand like an onslaught and then somehow push them back, and then hopefully on the last guy you kill, you have just enough time to sprint to the next tripwire. God, man, at World at War, people were trying to say this game was super hard, and they were like, "This is the hardest." No, World at War on Veteran would easily the hardest COD campaign of all time.
Was that the one where if no matter
the
what
grenade
happens,
spam?
you just took the
that was the one where the final mission is with Reznov, and you're charging the Reichstag in Germany, and you're like running up the steps, and there's just infinitely spawning grenades, people throwing shit, and you just. I remember when I played it on Vet this year, I spent 4 hours on that mission trying to figure out what it needed me to trigger the next spawn. And I was just like, bro, it didn't take skill. I think that you're right, though. I think that they have changed something, because they do have certain sections of the game where enemies will infinitely respawn if you don't push forward. But they also have other sections where, certain missions and stuff, like where you're clearly having to assault something. If you don't push forward, they're just going to keep coming down. But in other missions where you're doing stealthy stuff, or you're like a lone survivor type vibe, they're not just going to send 50,000 dudes at you. They're going to allow you to go through this open world and pick out how you want to traverse through the mission. And I think they do that really well, because it felt like they were, shoehorned back in the day by the infinite respawns.
I think it was Modern Warfare 2019 where I first noticed that they weren't doing the infinite respawn thing at all or as much, and I really liked it. It made it so much better to play on other CODs on Veteran when they just don't infinitely respawn. Because World at War, God, it's just... I still don't know how I did it.
Such a good game ruined by that bullshit.
I did World at War on Veteran, and I don't know how, because the problem with World at War on Veteran wasn't just the grenade spam. Like, you'd see 57 grenade icons all around you. If you showed your face... You were dead.
Yep.
Even if you were getting shot by dudes that had pistols that were 17 kilometers away.
So it's the same argument that I used to make about Destiny. I used to really like to play Destiny, but then I realized that my favorite boss fights were the ones that I cheesed. And I realized that that's not a good, mechanic. Like if the most efficient way to beat something is to cheese it, you fucked up. So that's how I feel about those older COD campaigns. The only way to efficiently beat them on Veteran is to cheese, or to find a spot where you can just get lucky and the AI blurps out and comes down a hallway at you. Like Pavlov's house off COD 1. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
You had to survive in there for like 15 or 20 minutes. Oh my God. It's horrible. But I did it. I don't know why. Why do we as gamers subject ourselves to this?
I don't know.
It's like I remember when Modern Warfare, the first one, 2007, dropped, and the airplane do it in 1 minute or whatever it was.
We all wanted the achievement.
It was the achievement, and I was like pad breakingly close, and I just could not get it. And I happened to be at a LAN, and one of my buddies was like, "Oh, I've been through what you've been through." Let me just do this again for you, because I practiced this so much I can do it pretty consistently. He did it in like the third try. I was like, oh, thank you. He was like, and then he followed it up with, and forever you'll know that anytime you see that achievement, it wasn't you. I was like, oh.
Do either of you? What are you playing it on, Doug? What platform?
I'm on PC, Battle.net.
Okay, so there's no achievements. Because I was going to say,
no,
John,
I'm doing achievements. I'm going through right now. I've been doing it the past 2 streams, just getting all the achievements.
They do achievements, but just not.
Like I did alone last night on stream without firing a gun. That was
really
wow.
Yep.
I'll do that on my easy run.
Even on you need to do it on recruit. Even on recruit, I died a lot.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like throwing smoke bombs everywhere, dude. I was trying as hard as I could.
So, and just one thing I wanted to tackle before we got on was on Modern Warfare 2, because that's the game of the show. 2 things. One, my goodness, it's very pretty. A lot of time.
Stunning.
Like the opening mission, when it went from what I presumed was a cutscene, and then I was like, oh nope, they've really gone to town on these rocks.
Yeah.
And I think the big one for everybody was Amsterdam, which I saw was doing quite well on
gorgeous
Twitter. But, and this touches on another point, you mentioned, the open wide levels. Like, obviously, COD is known for being very linear, corridor shooter. You know,
on the
this will be
rails,
blocked off, go forward, that's it. Hold your hand. And it was nice. Like when I got to the Amsterdam level, I was like, oh, it's not, it's all a mirage. It's all pretend. But then as the game does progress, there are some genuinely much larger open levels that let you kind of go in. It reminded me a little bit of that kind of Halo vibe. Like, here's the objectives. Go here first if you want, or go here first and try and tackle these. I think the sniper one being the biggest kind of example of that. But it was really nice to see and quite refreshing for a COD game.
Or El Sin Nombre, where you get to go through the house. That's very open-ended mission. I've already done it 4 different ways. Yeah,
and do you know what really bugs me about that was again, I don't want to spoil, but I did the thing and I got the key thing, and I didn't realize that the guy was just waiting for me down the hall. So I was like, escaped out, and I got down and I'm up on a roof somewhere. And like survived for like 10 minutes without triggering a cutscene. And I got back and I just turned left instead of going right. I was like, oh, it's there.
Yep.
Oops.
I spent a lot of time on that mission too when it was really just straightforward. But I had fun. I explored the whole house. I like when games make me want to explore the world. Environment and pacing is a huge thing for me. I do think that the new campaign messed up pacing a little bit in sections, but it is what it is. The end result was great.
Yeah, really solid.
Oh, that opening, like my wife happened to be walking by as I started the game with the bit where you're in the sort of small canyon thing with the rocks on either side, and she's just like, "Is that real?" She's like, is that the game or is that real? I'm like, "That's the game." I'm like, "That was running at 120 and it looked like that."
Yeah.
If I had it on like 60 mode where it probably increases the resolution, all that sort of stuff, it would have looked even better again. But it looked amazing at 120.
Playing on 1440p is just insane with it. It really is insane.
Oh, my God.
I do think that that's another thing they have to get credit for is people have been asking for a Call of Duty movie, like a Halo type thing, for a long time now. This campaign has over an hour of like 4K quality, movie quality cinematics. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching all of them. I've even rewatched some of them in the cinematics tab. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that much out of this campaign. I don't know why. I thought all the focus and emphasis would be on multiplayer, DMZ, Warzone 2. They already have all this crazy stuff. But God, man, they blew me away with this one. I genuinely thought it was one of the best they've ever done. Infinity Ward don't miss.
No.
Ever.
They're a really good studio.
I skipped all the cutscenes.
There is an issue with Infinity War, though, is that it never got a 1X version, so it's pretty fuzzy on Xbox.
It's all right.
With which
I'll
one?
stretch it out.
Infinite Warfare.
Yeah. I will say, though, does anyone else, when you see Shepard, does anyone else go, it's that guy from 24, and relive your youth a little bit, or is it just me?
I didn't watch 24.
So I know what you're talking about. Interestingly enough, another little small fact about Shepard in this game, he's voiced by a guy from MW2 called Overwatch. He was on the OG MW2. He was the guy that talked to you on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
The entire game. He talked to you throughout that.
Wow.
And now he does all these other huge roles. So they paid out the ass for him, I think.
Yeah, because he's been in a lot of stuff, the actual actor.
And we're talking about a franchise that won't even license their guns, so they give them all these goofy ass names every year.
Yeah, mental.
Wow.
But there you go. Modern Warfare 2 available now in campaign form if you go ahead and spend more money than you'd probably like. If not, it comes out for everybody else October 28th, right?
Yes.
October 28th is for everyone. November 16th is the full release of DMZ and Warzone 2 simultaneously. And then halfway through Season 1 in December is when we get raids, which is 2 teams of 3 go in and do like raid type shit.
Ooh. Wow. So does that mean they're going to destroy my launcher again? Like they
absolutely.
Did Modern Warfare
a lot of people
2019?
haven't noticed, so this is something I haven't tweeted about yet, but everybody was questioning and confused about how Call of Duty would handle things moving forward, because there were so many complaints about the file size of Warzone if you wanted to just have MW19 multiplayer and all that.
Yes.
And their solution is actually very visible right now. If you launch MW2 on your computer and you look at what it shows in the toolbar at the bottom, it says COD HQ. So it's a whole new thing. COD HQ is where Warzone 2 is going to live. It's where DMZ is going to live. It's where MW2 will live after this, except for it'll be separate. So no more of this. You have to have Warzone installed. Warzone's completely separate.
Yeah.
Completely separate. So COD HQ will just be where you go to check what you have installed. I mean, it'll probably be another subset within BattleNet. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. I'm just saying that was something I heard over a year ago that they were doing. And if you launch MW2 on your PC and you look at what it says in the task manager, it's called COD HQ.
Yeah,
I wonder how they do it on Xbox, though.
Well, it logs you in, even just for the campaign right now.
Xbox will just be separate apps. Xbox will just be separate apps. I mean, it already was. Instead of like, do you know how annoying it is every time you wanted to launch MW19 or whatever, you'd have to launch Warzone because they completely took Modern Warfare 19 off of the name. Yeah, that won't be a thing anymore.
That's good.
I hated that. Like, I look at my icon now and it's a Warzone icon, and I'm like, I bought Modern Warfare. Where is Modern Warfare? That is what I bought.
They're messing with your life.
Oh,
that's something they've worked on, as well as their new, or not their new, but their anti-cheat.
Oh my god, I hated that so much. I don't want to lose the Modern Warfare 2 icon as well.
It's just an icon, man. It'll be okay.
Those two CODs are the only games I have broken my day one rule for in like the last 6 years. Because I said after Uncharted 4, I said I wasn't going to buy games day one digitally anymore because they drop in price so quickly.
Yeah.
But the two Modern Warfares, I caved. I caved. I just love Modern. I just wish COD would stick to Modern. Just stick to Modern. Don't worry about the rest. The rest don't matter. Just stick to Modern.
All right. So that is Modern Warfare. Now, we usually on this podcast, we go through all the week's news, and I'm very conscious we spent like 45 minutes chatting about Call of Duty. So let's be lighthearted somewhat. Let's say
we do come back. We do technically come back to Call of Duty and ABK and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So we'll revisit it last, but loads of stuff coming out this week. Finally, the worst kept secret in the industry lately is Silent Hill 2 is being remade by Bloober of Layers of Fear. Yeah, along with a plethora of other Silent Hill properties.
Like, I had heard there was going to be 2 Silent Hill games. I didn't know there was going to be like 5.
Yeah, that was a huge announcement.
I'm like, what?
Do you
I don't trust him. I don't trust him with it.
No, do you not feel like Konami's like, well, I suppose we should try and make some money. Let's do the Assassin's Creed route and just announce Silent Hill everything.
Yeah. That was so weird.
I really do think it's a response, though, to like the public outcry for why have we not heard anything? I think you're right. Yeah. I think they're like, well, I mean, shit, if they're asking this much for it, it's got to sell well, right? You can make anything. What was that Metal Gear Solid game that was just dog shit? Metal Gear Survival one? Oh my god, I feel like this is going to go down that same path. I think they'll try to do the Silent Hill 2 remake properly, and I think the rest of them will just be, cash grabs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a horror fan.
For Silent Hill fans, I've never played a Silent Hill game in my life, but for Silent Hill fans, I hope that's not the case. I hope.
Yeah. I hope not either, because they used to be. I mean, they're iconic games. They're good games. They stand very much alone when it comes to all other horror games. You can't compare a horror game to Silent Hill.
Really?
Not in my opinion. Okay. The way they flow and play and the storyline. Resident Evil tries,
but doesn't succeed.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting.
So maybe that's why people are clamoring so much. They're seeing all the money that all of the Resident Evil remakes are getting and all of the general positive buzz, and they're like, we want some of that. So they finally done it.
They got to make a game as good as Village and the RE4 remake and all that. I never have played RE4, so I'm so excited for the remake.
You know what? You're lucky because, I told someone else who was on our show recently, don't play Resident Evil 4 now that the remake's about to come out, because a lot of people that love Resident Evil 4, it's the nostalgia talking. Mm-hmm. Like, I tried to play Resident Evil 4 again semi-recently because I've got it on 360. And I tried to play it again. I'm like, man, these controls just... No. They just don't.
At the time, though, it was monumental, and it was on GameCube, for Christ's sake. And it was like the first over-the-shoulder shooter. I liked it. I just watched a ton of stuff. I never played it, but I didn't have a GameCube, so...
There is one good way to play it, and that is if you have an Oculus Quest 2, it feels they did a fantastic job making that that version of it.
I sold
That
my
actually
Quest 2.
plays well. Yeah, Quest 2 is great if
Okay.
you like VR on PC.
Yeah. No, Resident Evil 4 at the time was amazing. Yes, at the time it was, but it hasn't, purely because of how it controls, it hasn't aged the best. But visually, it's aged well. The atmosphere is still great. So I'm expecting RE4 Remake to be as good, if not better, than RE2 Remake. And RE2 Remake is amazing.
I still need to try that one.
Lots of.
Oh, you haven't played it? Oh, it's so good.
No.
It's so good. But remember what I always say: the best Resident Evil game is Dead Space. Dead Space.
Facts. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. Not
Dead
wrong.
Space. Oh, what a
I'm gonna
game.
go to the restroom real quick. If that's okay.
Go.
That's fine.
The beer's
What's next in the mill? I want to make sure I don't miss something. I wanna
We're
talk
talking about these
I'm so
fancy
jealous.
pads.
I don't want to be here for that. I mean, I'm gonna have it up on my phone while I use the restroom. That's an elite controller, basically, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
well, the
that's the
design labs, that was the next one. The design labs have now allowed you to customize an elite controller.
Yes,
So you can
the Elite 2. Yes,
you can color it, you can make it all fancy, you can customize it. You
That's
can
not
laser
the
it.
Master Chief exclusive one.
This is the
Yes,
Master
that
Chief
is.
one.
Oh,
I had to send it off for repair, so it's just come home to me.
I want it so bad. How much was it?
It was 150 odd pounds, so I don't know, $179.99.
I'll give you $10.
No.
Look at all the stuff you got.
Go and look for one on Amazon. These now retail for like 650 quid.
Do they
don't make them
really?
anymore. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous.
So
Mine is
sad.
still
God
mine
damn
is
it.
still sealed. Mine is still sealed and in the plastic.
You should try and
I
sell
hate
it.
I'll make it look like someone's still here. Hi, I'm Modern Warzone. How you doing?
Yeah. Wow. So we were talking about. Well, I mean, we may as well talk about the Resident Evil showcase anyway, because that also happened. What? I mean, what?
No, go on. You were saying Resident
Oh,
Evil.
I was just saying, I actually watched the Resident Evil showcase. Resident Evil 4 looked good. Resident Evil 8 Gold Edition. So that's got, like Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition, all the DLC. There's a third person mode. They had REverse, the multiplayer thing. So that'll be their Resident Evil games as a service. I'm trying to remember what else. They were the major things. But Resident Evil 4 was what everyone was
clamoring
really,
for.
really there for, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm very much looking forward to that. I will definitely buy that. But as I said a second ago, you can't. For me, Dead Space is still the best Resident Evil game. Dead Space is just, goddamn, I can't wait for that remake.
No point coming to me for an opinion on horror games. I'm afraid I'm too much for.
But it's such a good game, though. Don't worry about the horror element. It's just a great shooter. It's just such a good game.
I can't help
Dead
but worry
Space.
about the horror element. That's the main reason for playing.
And it's one of the.
I've been replaying them on stream lately.
Yes.
Dead Space on PC is just completely broken. On 360, it actually holds up pretty well. Dead Space 2 on PC, which you have access to with Game Pass Ultimate, John,
Yes.
phenomenal. Holds up so well. And if you have someone to play with, Dead Space 3 is very good. It was built around co-op, which really, if you try and play solo, it's so different. But it's one of my favorite series of games.
Wow.
Freaking love
Are
it.
And it's one of the. I was going to say it's one of the only games where I watch the cutscenes.
Wow.
Dead Space.
High praise. Are
Definitely
you looking
amazing.
forward to Callisto Protocol?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because it's from the makers of Dead Space and it looks a lot like Dead Space. No, because it looks a lot like Dead Space and Dead Space Remake is coming out like right around the same time.
Man, if I was that dev, because the dev is the original.
Yes. Of
Glenn
Dead Space.
Schofield.
I'd be really annoyed that EA did that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'd
me
be
too.
really privately, I'd be really like, you.
Me too.
mother-"
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, because they're just like, everyone wanted Dead Space. They killed
Yep.
the studio that made it. They
Yep.
got rid of everyone. And then the guy
Yep.
was like, you know what? I'm going to do something again in that space. Goes, does it, announces it. And then they go, oh, here's a remake of the first game.
Yeah.
I'd be really cheesed.
'Cause,
Um,
yeah,
Would you,
well,
how cheesed could you be though? Because I mean,
like
You're basically
gorgonzola.
making the same game.
Well, that's like
that's
it's just
why.
like,
That's why.
You'd be so angry at EA for tanking my company and stealing my IP. And
He's
For what it's
effectively remaking Dead Space without using the name Dead Space.
I know.
That's
I'm
effectively
looking
what
more
he's
forward to
doing.
Callisto Protocol, but then I think I read recently of how small the dev team is. I got a little worried.
reset your expectations. It's not, it's not a AAA.
It
game.
looks so good in all the stuff
does.
they've shown, though. It looks so fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think you could make Dead Space goriness look better, but they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that some of the deaths are particularly gruesome.
Yes.
Like seeing
What they've
face
shown during the
cover.
showcases, yeah, they've shown. I couldn't believe. I remember I was doing a watch party for it. I couldn't believe the amount of gore they were showing on main broadcast of the game show, the Game Awards. I was like, bro, this dude just got his face eaten. There's children.
Yeah.
There's children watching.
They're showing Nintendo games here.
Oh man, yeah, I'm just watching it on our stream, and you guys in the cutter. Good lord.
Yes, man.
Next year for horror games is something special. We've got Callisto Protocol, Dead Space Remake, Resident Evil 4
Callisto's in
Remake.
December. It's actually this year.
I thought it got
Holy
delayed.
shit.
I thought it
No,
got
there was a
delayed.
rumor it was delayed, and then they said, nope, we just went gold.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
December. Yeah, so it's a bad rumor.
Yeah, I
They
still
happen.
count it as next year. Whatever.
I don't know. I've been called out for a bad rumor before, and then right around the time my rumor was supposed to come true, they ended up making it true.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Well, no, apparently it
Forspoken
went
getting
gold
delayed.
today.
Like
Or
Forspoken
like
getting
whenever
delayed.
I did my article doing the name reveal of Call of Duty Vanguard, and I also said that it would be alternate history and part of it would take place in the 50s. Eurogamer immediately comes out with the article saying that that was unfounded and that part is wrong. Turns out,
It was right.
true. It really comes down to your definition of what the difference between alt history is and historical fiction is. I was like, why would you even point it out in your article if it was that? Like, come on, man.
Well,
I had a similar thing. I had a rumor mill. I had a rumor mill on this show where I said Forspoken might get delayed, and then like a couple of days later, they dated Forspoken, and then it ended up getting delayed. Like not long after that, and like everyone was taking a big dump on me because I said it might.
I
get
still get
delayed.
people taking the dump on me because Eurogamer called me out for being wrong, and they don't understand that I was right in the end. It just mattered that the internet agreed that I was wrong at the time.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Don't worry. I very much feel your pain. I still get asked where Sly Cooper is. I still get asked where Sly Cooper is. Oh God. But yes, Dead Space remake. Best Resident Evil Dead Space. The best. So yeah. That's Dead Space. That's Resident Evil Showcase. That's Silent Hill Showcase.
Yeah, we were going to
talked
talk about these. So Elite Series 2 is now customizable on Design Lab. I played around with it, and yeah, I was kind of tempted by the lime green, but I'm not doing this anymore.
I made a purple one, and I think I'm going to buy it. I might sell my white one. I might sell my core because I've got a friend who wanted a core, so I might just sell him mine super cheap and put that money towards my purple Elite 2, I think.
Nice.
Looks nice, all purple. Everything, if you just do it all 100% dark purple, it actually
Beautiful.
looks
My
real
Elite 2
nice.
came out the box with stick drift, so
Yeah,
Those Elite 2s are garbage.
oh, thanks. That's great. $180 later. It's
yeah.
Mine
it's
fell
pretty irritating.
apart. Mine literally crumbled and fell apart. I had to throw it out. Like it's
Jesus.
just no. I showed it on screen once. I pulled it apart like on camera. Like it completely fell apart. It was so bad.
Do you remember mine used
So
to
bad.
rattle? Like you could hear all the bits inside.
Mine
it
rattled
rattling?
too. You could hear the
Shocking.
screws
I've got a
rumbling
bunch of
around in there.
Xbox guys here, and I haven't been most up to date with Xbox news. What's up with Gears of War?
Gears 5 came out. It did.
I know about Gears 5, but like,
Okay.
what's the future?
They've just
Is it
started
dead?
hiring again. I've seen the
Right.
coalition have started hiring
not dead.
again and mentioning Gears. So
It's not dead at all.
They might be coming back.
I
There's
don't
more
think it's
coming.
dead as a title, but they just seemed like they wanted to pour a lot into the esports side of it with Gears 5, and it just immediately tanked.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those games that has, yes, it has its niche core people that love it, but it has not got a wide stream appeal. Like, I don't find it particularly fun to watch. esports wise
Yeah.
playing.
If the entire world was Mexico, it would be the biggest game on the planet.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Very much so.
It is just it's
The
not
Dominic
it's not,
Santiago effect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
on the
speaking of elite controllers, let's move to good elite controllers.
what do you say?
So Sony finally gave the date and price on the PlayStation Edge controller. Comes out Australia Day, January 26. $200 US. I am terrified of what the Australian price is going to be on this thing. Absolutely terrified. I'm thinking 350 Australian is what I think it's going to be.
I called this thing out on my personal Twitter because it's literally just a copy and paste of the Xbox Elite controller. But
It is.
I did get called out by a guy who's written for me before and does great work. His name's Maverick. And he let me know that there is a big difference. And that their big difference apparently between this controller, I thought that they were just talking about taking these on and off.
No, you
but
take the whole
apparently you can take
module
the
out.
whole module off. So if you get stick drift, you just replace the module.
Yes.
Now that I've heard about that, that is a new step in custom controllers. If it works well, I have to get one and try it. I'm not a PlayStation controller fan, but the fact, because I mean, like once you get stick drift, you're just fucked. Like you can't do anything about it. But the fact that they've maybe figured that out, if I was Scuff and all these other brands, I would be sweating.
Yeah. You can take the whole entire module out.
For only $20 per, according to your chat.
Yeah. Looks good. Like I
Stick
really
drift
want this
isn't a
controller.
hard thing to solve. They just don't want to spend the money to actually get the decent modules. They've got holographic modules and stuff that work. Don't get stick drift, can last 10, 20 years, but they cost $1 or $2 more. So on every controller, that adds up.
I find it odd how common stick drift is because I never have it. I've never had it. I think I had one Joy-Con have it, and that was only because it was a Joy-Con my son dropped when he dropped his Switch, and it landed on that Joy-Con. And then that Joy-Con had drift, but that was after it got bloody dropped.
Every controller I've ever had gets it. I think that it comes from games that cause you, like Call of Duty, it's attack sprint, you have to press down. Yeah. I think anything to where you click the stick in repeatedly is what causes stick drift, in my opinion. I don't think just aiming your controller does it. I think that any of this, the pressure on the module, eventually it just gets to where it leans one way or the other. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like when you played the MW2 campaign, did you go in and reset your did zones? Because you might have it, and the games might just have did zones that are high enough that you don't notice you have it. Almost everybody's controller
But then wouldn't I
gets it.
feel it in all my other games?
No, most games have a did zone that's above a normal threshold of a controller.
I tell you what, a good game to do it in, Nick, Halo Infinite. If you drop all the dead zones to 0 and just stand still, like you'll find your Spartan will start just slowly drifting, and your aim might really imperceptibly just start going. They all, to some degree, have it. Like a fresh pad, you might be really lucky, and it will be okay for a while. But that's why dead zones exist, is to mitigate the fact that at some point it's going to wander a little bit.
Yeah, like I used to keep mine on 0.00 with a brand new controller, but if I leave it like that, I'll just be turning. But I keep mine on 0.03 on almost all my games now, and now that one has gotten to where I get drift there, so now I'm bumping it up to 0.05. Some people, like my old Xbox controller, I had to have that bad boy at 0.1, which the less you have your dead zone, the more responsive your controller feels. So you start to notice after a while. Once you get past that 0.1 mark is when most people say, get a new controller.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't have bad stick drift on here. Go do it on the MW2 campaign. Like you just go in and go to advanced controls and then set your dead zones to 0 and try to stand still.
Yeah. Okay. See, I find it like I have my dead zones at 0 in Halo because particularly in Halo, you're never standing still for long. Like you're always moving, crouching, jumping, strafing in some capacity. So it doesn't matter so much if I was to completely stand still that my character might do this because I'm always moving in a direction in some form or fashion. But like I have different profiles though. That's the beauty of the Elite, right? Is that on certain games I have it set up as X, and then I have a different acceleration curve for other games and other stuff like that. So you can get really into experimenting.
And they've added this new thing. I don't know if it was caused by the PlayStation, like the whatever they have. What do you call their triggers? The DualSense triggers. Yes. I don't know if it's caused by that, but they also have trigger dead zones now. And like when Vanguard came out, Call of Duty Vanguard came out, their trigger dead zone like default setting was like 0.25, and everybody was complaining that it felt like the game had horrendous input delay, all because it took that 0.1 second longer of them to pull the trigger farther. So dead zones are a big deal, man.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to start fiddling with mine from now on. I never touch them. I just leave them.
Well, there you go.
Become a Warzone pro player. You'll find out real quick. Your chat will start screaming at you. If you play with vibration on, you are a scrub, according to everybody.
Really?
Yeah, I've always played with vibration on because I felt like it was more immersive. But when I started playing Warzone, I had to turn it off.
Games feel weird to me if they're not vibrating.
Yeah, but it makes you aim better when your controller's not shaking out of your hand. That's a fact.
It's true. Yeah. I turned it off for Halo Infinite when I first got it, and I started hitting the ranked. But then I found that my awareness of being shot, I don't think Infinite does a particularly great job of telling you where you're being shot from. So I might tank 2 hits before I realise. But if I turn vibration on, as soon as I feel that first hit, I know, I'll know roughly someone's shooting at me. Take cover.
And I had that same argument with the COD pros, and they were all like, "No, trust me, it's not worth that." But I also I have terrible eyesight, so when I'm playing Warzone and somebody shoots me, it scares the piss out of me. That vibration helps you a little bit, especially the controllers nowadays have different vibrations in different areas where you get shot. It helps a lot.
I have to have vibration in Rocket League. It feels bizarre to me to play Rocket League without vibration.
Rocket League is one where you need it.
Oh, yeah. Like, it feels like when my battery's about to die and the rumble automatically cuts off.
Yeah, you feel it immediately.
You're like, whoa, what's happening? It's like I can't play Rocket League anymore. It's like, what's going on? Like, no rumble. It's so weird. So weird.
And then, so the only other big bits of news, apart from the whole Activision Blizzard King acquisition stuff, was Minecraft Legends. Minecraft Live happened, and Legends, which is their take on is this an RTS? Is this what we're calling it?
I don't know
Kind of.
Is the trailer for it just looked like dungeons to me.
Yeah, well, it looks like Minecraft, but it's a strategy game, I guess.
It is a strategy. It's kind of like people saying like Overlord, and it's kind of got MOBA mechanics where you're but it's not a PvP thing. But it's definitely its own thing, and it looks very good.
It looks cool.
And it comes out spring 2023. Obviously, Microsoft, being evil, are making it exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Oh wait, no, they're not. And on that note, because they release content on other platforms.
Fuck you, Sony.
But before we do that, how many people are watching us right now?
No,
148.
Usual, funnily enough, 150.
150. How many likes do we have, though?
Only 49 likes, Nick.
Got to get those likes up, guys. Come on. Got to get those likes up.
Come on, here, I'll drop
Got to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Get those numbers up.
Good enough, is it? And
has anyone been gifted a membership from Tom? Those leftover gifted memberships?
Are they still there?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think they are, but I don't know if anyone's been getting them. I haven't seen anyone in the chat getting them.
I thought a lot of them have been taken, like membership-wise.
Also, if you're here watching, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube and make sure you ring that bell. That way you get notified every single time the XboxEra podcast goes live.
That's a better job than me. Should probably go check out Modern Warzone as well on Twitter.
He's been doing it a long, long time. He knows.
Yeah.
These guys are
I had a podcast. I need to bring mine back. I got tired of doing it every week.
Yeah.
Was it a Call of Duty one?
Well, yeah, it was just mainly centered around Call of Duty and Warzone. It was called Warzone Weekly, and then Caldera came out, and it was just fucking horrendous. And I didn't want to talk about how bad the game was every week, so I just stopped doing it.
God, Call of Duty every week. What were you talking about?
Plenty. There's plenty. The Call of Duty ecosystem is huge. If you actually want to cover the competitive side, as well as the Warzone side, as well as YouTube, as well as everything, and people complaining, new metas and everything, bro, there's content for... You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I feel so sorry for the Halo.
It's basically like how Halo's going to be once Forge mode comes out, if it ever comes out. Like, there's going to be content for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, Doug. Thank you. Because Halo and the Halo Infinite team at 343 released their overview trailer for the winter update, which does include Forge, on November 8th, and you'll be able to download my map that I made as part of that, which is really cool. Again, super cool seeing my stuff in a trailer.
Yo, Forge comes out on November 8th?
Forge comes out on November 8th. I plan on having Curfew, which is the cyberpunk city map that you might have seen in some of the trailers. There it is on screen.
Is that your map, Curfew?
Curfew's my one. It's not going to be a match, like, just to set expectations. It's not going to be dropped into matchmaking or anything at this point in time. But it will hopefully be available for you to download publicly and play with friends and test it out and give me feedback and stuff like that. But it's not the only thing that's coming with the Inter update. They are also releasing a co-op campaign.
Oh, yes.
We've got a thing to talk about with that. We've made the plan for You Had Me at Halo. Our next episode, we're doing an episode next week, but then we're going to have an episode November 8th. During that episode, we will be playing co-op campaign as we talk about the winter update. It should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
That's a good
Can't wait to play with my son.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with friends, to be honest. It should be a really good laugh. But it's looking like it's going to be a chunky update. There's a 30-tier battle pass that comes with it that's for free because they're testing in-match XP.
Wait,
so they're just trying to...
Is this the Season 3? This isn't the Season 3 battle pass?
No. Season 3 is still like next year. Like March or whatever.
March.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's in March.
They've given a date.
Okay. I'm not even up to level 50 in this battle pass yet.
You better hurry up then, son.
They don't expire. That's the one difference, Nick. You got to remember, no expiration.
Yeah,
you can get to them whenever you want.
True.
And it will be faster with
magic.
magic.
Excited. I am so excited. I don't even have time to play this.
I know.
What am I supposed to do? Dude, I've been waiting on this Forge mode since Infinite was announced. Like, this is my childhood, was playing Halo 3, Infection, Jenga, all that stuff, man. That was what made the Halo community what it is today.
And you wait to see some of the stuff. Like, you've seen a little bit there. They've made a repulse soccer. You know the repulsor in Halo? You can ping grenades back. So they've made a game, part of the Forge Council. They made some arenas for it. So there'll be a variety of arenas. But as a mini game, there's a kill ball that is physically affected and rolls around like a football. And you've got infinite slide and speed. And you can repulse the ball, use it to kill opponents. But you can also score goals with it. And then it drops back down, and it's like first to 5 wins. But it's really,
so it's like
really good
Rocket
fun.
League dodgeball.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I saw clips of that.
They've done a really good job with it.
I saw the one where they made the Toy Story room.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I mean, I had heard about all of the different, tools that they're going to give people with Forge mode, and I can't wrap my hand around it. I used to make maps back in the day and enjoy doing it. Doubt I could do that with this new system, but it doesn't matter. There are people out there who will take the time to do cool shit like that for free. You just get to go play it. It's going to, and hopefully I'm not up to date on how their, what was it called back in the day? We had the file share, the media tab you had back in Halo 3. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how easy it is to keep up with the top Forge maps. Hopefully there's something that has like the top 100 and you could just go download them and play them. And hopefully, as well as that, the last time I played a Halo game was I played the Master Chief Collection, and I dropped in when they did the matchmaking for Forge. I was like, my God, this was everything I wanted when I was a child. Unfortunately, the nostalgia wore off from it. But with this new one, dude, if I get to play in Andy's bedroom and have a game of TDM on Halo, I'm going to do it. Yeah. That's YouTube content.
And the good news is there is a publicly available browsable file share. I think they're doing Popular, which is the most recent of the last 7 days, the games that have been played on the most, maps-wise. Then they've got curated content. So these are maps that 343 feel are really, really good. And then they've got a couple of other tabs where you can go browse like top prefabs, which is things like scripts, or I want to download a really cool-looking lamp. They'll go and give you that option to do that.
I love lamp.
I love lamp too. And then you never know. There might be really cool Xbox-focused community teams that decide to do something really, really cool to help support that community-driven content. Don't know who they would be, but, one might be inclined to tease something that might be coming at some point in the near future.
I've got Halo on in the background. See that?
Yeah,
I'm watching I've got the Twitch stream on so that I can get those Twitch drops.
Green wall, baby.
It's fun. And then that's all of the news. The last piece of news is kind of two things. One, Microsoft released their full statement on the CMA, which is the UK's what's it called? Competitive Market Authority, or whatever its acronym is.
Whatever those idiots are called.
Yeah, but they've released their full pushback to their announcement of pushing it to phase 2 on their acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. And
did you see what they said?
Yeah, Microsoft.
They said what I said. They said what I said. Why do you care about Sony's market position? That is not your job to care about Sony's market position.
But they revealed a lot of stuff in there as well.
I feel like there's a lot of dirty shit going on behind the scenes and a lot of lobbying. Because it doesn't make sense how much the pushback was from the UK.
Yeah,
I didn't understand it when I first read it. I was like, if you actually know what you're talking about, this is so hilarious to read coming from Sony. You making things exclusive is bad for us. Okay. Okay. You're the whole reason it took so long to get cross-platform on Fortnite and Rocket League. Yeah. I'm gonna get angry.
No, but that's what I think a lot of the community feels.
It's how Sony got into the industry. They bought a publisher. They started money-hatting the crap out of everything. Resident Evil, Tomb Raider. Like, that's how Sony entered the gaming industry. And now they're like, oh, but don't let them buy Activision because then they're going to do to us what we did to them. You can't allow that. How are we going to survive?
I tweeted about this article we have on screen right now.
Yeah.
Lost.
And yeah, that was the big piece of news. So Microsoft publicly revealed that, there's a restriction to Activision in their marketing contract for Call of Duty that prevents Microsoft from, pushing a Game Pass deal for previous COD games. So COD can't be on Game Pass whilst that contract is in place.
I really want to know, somebody who eats, breathes, sleeps, and lives COD, I want to see this contract. I want to see when that contract first got signed, and I want to see how much money it was for. Because this has to be the same contract that originally Xbox was who had the exclusive rights to COD content. And then nobody had it for 1 year, I think it was, when they tried to do their subscription service with COD Elite with Ghost is when that first came out. And then that failed. So they were like, okay, we're going to go back to exclusive in some platform. And then they went to Sony. And Sony must have been like, look, we are never, ever being on the wrong side of this ever again. We'll throw you however much money. But this deal has to be massive to agree to terms like this that persist years upon the exiting of the contract. I don't understand why Activision would have agreed to it unless it's got to be a major bag, bro.
It's got to be a lot of money. But I think they can put Call of Duty titles on Game Pass once the contract expires, but it's whilst this marketing contract is in place, they can't offer them to any other service apart from PlayStation.
The thing is, though, is that this contract would technically be null and void after Microsoft acquires them, I believe.
No, that's what I would have thought.
I thought that Microsoft just said that they agreed to honor the existing agreements, not that it would legally hold up in court that they had to.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
They just are saying that they're being cordial, which is why I think that the committees or whatever are like, well, this could be a problem, is because if Microsoft all of a sudden pulls a Fallout or a Bethesda, that could be problematic. But I don't see that happening either. I just think it's insane that the perpetuity that goes with this contract would even limit somebody like Microsoft from including it on Game Pass day one.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that Sony seem to be expecting a contract in perpetuity.
Look at that meme.
It's so good, isn't it?
Which one?
I need that meme that was just on the screen talking about Sony bitching about exclusivity.
And then
was
the next
my
one,
tweet?
No, it was the one with the collection of stickers from all of their boxes, like exclusive mode, exclusive.
I was about to say, I thought, because I'm not watching the stream, because I thought maybe it was me watching that was tanking it before, but turns out it wasn't.
And then they have an exclusive operator coming to MW2 multiplayer that you can only get on PlayStation, and I'm just like,
not only that, within a week of them crying about this deal, Silent Hill 2 is timed exclusive
to PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Well, that's the rumor, right? Is that they might have possibly delayed a showcase because all of a sudden a Resident Evil showcase happens, a Silent Hill showcase happens, a Final Fantasy 16 trailer drops. Those are all things that they have marketing and exclusivity on in some ways.
That's right.
Yet all of those drop at the same time, but no showcase, and because they're in the middle of trying to say, "Save us, please, CMA."
That's what I'm saying. Like, They're sitting there talking about, but Microsoft might lock content away and this, that, the other. And it's like, that's exactly what you do.
My angle was always, I thought that Microsoft would use this whole thing as a leverage deal with Sony to get Game Pass on PlayStation. Yep. And now it's very clear to me that Sony is not fucking letting that happen unless they absolutely have to. And I think by the end of this, I don't know. I'm pretty confident that the deal will go through. It'd be absolutely ridiculous if not. And Activision and Microsoft have the money to lobby even harder than Sony, I believe. So I don't see it not going through. I just see this whole grandstanding that we're watching right now happen for at least another year. But I am very disappointed about the Game Pass news. That is bad for consumers, and Sony just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what's weird about it. Is the CMA's job, its literal definition,
to protect consumers,
right? And there is a consumer benefit on the cards here, because if Microsoft are saying, "Hey, we've publicly and privately said to Sony, we'll keep Call of Duty on Game Pass. We're not going to suddenly switch the servers off and not let you have access
beyond the current deal."
Yeah, beyond the current deal, we'll still negotiate with you. Because of course, we're a business. We're not
thought that was very cordial. Yeah,
right. That's reasonable. And we're going to give our players, our customers, the benefit of their subscription. That's a good thing.
That's good for consumers. So Sony wants consumers to pay full price. Microsoft's giving the option to just make it part of an existing sub. And the CMA's like, nah, people need to pay.
I think Sony's going to lose this no matter what, just because it's pretty obvious that Microsoft is pro-consumer and that Sony is not pro-consumer. And their whole argument is that this is not pro-consumer. Well, there is about 10 plus years of history to show that Microsoft is trying. PlayStation would never have tried their little PS Plus bullshit if Game Pass wasn't working as well as it did. And they try to make that seem like it's a pro-consumer move. No, it's not. That whole subscription service sucks compared to Game Pass.
4 different tiers. It's a bit all over the shop.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, PlayStation Plus right now is effectively what Game Pass was when Game Pass started.
Yes.
Because there wasn't any content.
They're years behind just because they want to save face to their customers. They don't want their customers to think that they are anti-consumer, which they obviously are.
Oh, clearly. But the most embarrassing part about all this is the CMA, though. Sony, I understand. Of course, Sony is going to protect their walled garden. They're going to protect their business model. They're going to protect their little empire. I totally understand that. That's what Sony's going to do. Once again, I've said this 100 times. Why does the CMA care so much about Sony? That is the thing that makes zero sense in all this. We showed it last week. We showed the extract. The CMA's job is literally about consumers, not protecting competitors. But for some reason here, they're protecting a competitor. The market leader, no less.
It's bonkers. It doesn't make any sense.
It's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. Like, it's crazy.
There was a really good thread on Twitter that I think a guy called Senjatsu Sage, and I remember his name. I think he was banned from Rosetta a long time ago for fanboy posts. But he did do a good run through, because Microsoft's response was very thorough and was frankly going through all the talking points that we, and I guess the rest of the internet and media, have kind of been like, well, actually, like, common sense. And it's just hilarious to me seeing that in lawyer speak in a very, very definitive way. I just, you have to hope that it kind of lands with the CMA and actually does what it's supposed to do, and that the right people are being investigated. But hilariously, they've asked the public and they've offered an email address so that the public can have their say. Can you imagine being the guy who's responsible for that mailbox after they publicly gave that email address?
Is that normal?
I don't know, from a UK perspective, maybe. Can you imagine that, though? Like, getting constantly hounded by gaming Twitter? All the fanboys, PlayStation better.
Yeah, I know. Like, Sony fanboys are already tagging Joe Biden to try and get the deal blocked. Imagine what they're going to email the CMA.
I think they do. They always ask for people's stuff like that, but it's meant for more whistleblowers. But I don't think they understand just how many stupid ass people are going to bomb their email with that.
That's going to be... Man, they're going to get so many emails. Like, just insane emails as well. Like, absolutely insane stuff. crazy.
It's going to be crazy, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be a good idea for them, but we'll see how phase 2 goes. I don't think we're going to hear anything officially back on phase 2 till March of 2023 now at this point.
Yeah.
So
that's why I bought COD. I'm like, it's not going to be on Game Pass anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I may as well just buy it.
Time to relax. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Nick,
we got one last Dash update. We got an Xbox dashboard update.
Oh, did we? Was it anything good? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. This wasn't the one that has the energy saving stuff.
No, this is the one that puts in a new capture. It sort of puts all their capture stuff in one place, and it works way better now, especially at 720
the public
1080.
one. The public one.
Oh, you mean the
I'm talking
public
about
one? Okay.
No,
I was talking about the alpha
public
one. That one's way more exciting.
Oh yeah, the alpha one is better, but even the public one wasn't too bad. It's the one that let you like turn off the Xbox boot up sound.
Tom Warren
a lot
very
of people
happy.
complain about. Yeah. Tom Warren was very happy, and a couple of other smaller things. And they were supposed to update the app as well. You'll be able to edit videos in the app soon.
Yep.
Which is pretty handy. But yeah, it was all right.
It's good.
That's about it.
Have you got? Are you going to do the thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
In that case, it's this point in the show, and I guess Doug, for your benefit, we are supported as a community endeavour by our patrons, and every week they get to ping us, if they so desire, a community question. And a lot of the times, if we have a guest on, they might be directed towards you. So buckle up. Some of them might be really long-winded. The community can be a bit odd. But big thank you to all of our patrons for all of the support. You guys are keeping us ticking over. But before we do that, we've actually got a super chat come through from Libara X.
Yes. Libara X. If the ABK deal does not go through, Sony will end up regretting it. Microsoft can easily outbid Sony on every exclusive deal, and they will. That $70 billion will stay for Xbox investments, and Microsoft will spend. Didn't Jez write an article that alluded to this?
Yeah, he did.
Or am I mistaken?
It was quite a good fun read. But he did write a great article on Windows Central.
Yes,
go check it out.
Go and have a read of that.
That's actually a very good perspective. They'll just say, "Fuck it, we got $70 billion in the budget for it, anyways. Let's just go ham."
The problem Microsoft have is the world economy at the moment. That $70 billion is worth less today than it was last year. Right.
Yeah, true.
And I think Microsoft have on hand something like $170 billion in cash across the globe. They want to spend it because right now it's losing money.
Losing money, yeah.
So okay. What's to prevent them from acquiring tons of smaller studios where there is no regulatory oversight instead of publishers?
Or just money having a bunch of stuff.
The money hacking thing, I get the console warrior position on it, right? Oh, but the reason it costs Microsoft more is market share, and they were very public in their responses back that they haven't got anywhere near Sony's market share. Even if they said, even if every Call of Duty player on PlayStation switched to Xbox following the deal, Sony would still have the larger market share, right? So when
why did they give such wrong figures? Did you see the figures they gave?
I would imagine there's a little bit of lawyer speak in taking into account connected devices or anything.
That was odd. They said
like every single PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, PSTV, Vita, PSP that's ever been made that I think is still being used. PlayStation Classic, everything. I bet you that's every number they could get.
Used.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said 153 million. Now the PS4 alone had 116. So I thought it was PS4 and PS5 combined. I'm like, but the PS4 and PS5 combined isn't 153 million. And then they said Xbox was 63 million or 67 million or something. And I'm like, but wait, we know that Xbox One was around 55 million. They've sold way more than 12 million series.
They know what's being used, so they might be able to say, well, there's this many that were sold, but being actively used is only this number. They know theirs for sure.
Okay. So if it's actively used, then that changes things, yes. Because everyone was interpreting those numbers as sold consoles, which didn't add up. Like, the maths was all wrong. So I just found that odd.
Well, you're getting called out in chat. They're saying the Vita plus PlayStation 4 plus PlayStation 5 is that number.
Oh,
I forgot the Vita
is
fucking
15
exists.
million. Yeah.
oh, right. So it's the Vita, PS4, PS5 plus Vita.
Because you see everyone walking around using a Vita.
Yeah, 116 plus 20.
Hey, the PSP was good.
Plus 50. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Plus the Vita. That's about right. Yeah. I've got a Vita, and I had a PSP, but I've got a Vita.
I still don't have anything. I really need to get a Nintendo Switch, and I need to get an Xbox Series X.
That's good. Good console.
If we wait a few years, you might get a Series S handheld. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give
maybe.
it time. Give it time.
I saw the Steam Deck yesterday. My brother got his Steam Deck.
Yeah, I saw.
Yes,
I'm glad it all went
very, very excited.
Ass. I got to play one for the first time while I was in LA.
Well,
it's really cool.
His brother was like, "I want a Steam Deck," and they're not.
It's in your hands just right. I was very skeptical about how it looked, and then I got it in my hands, and it felt great as a controller. That's what she said. But
I don't know. For me, the stick placement was just a bit off, just a little bit.
I like it.
I felt like the sticks needed to be a little bit closer to the outside.
I like to make sure that when I grasp the stick, I get a firm grip. You know.
I feel like there's some double entendre going on here. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right. Okay. So community questions.
Patron shout. Did we mention the patrons?
I did.
We also have to say thank you to our many YouTube members now.
Oh my goodness!
My goodness,
yeah, we
John.
do.
Yeah, we turned on YouTube memberships.
Let's go YouTube.
Whoa, hey. He's got that thing that Gaz has got.
That Gaz has, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love this.
Yeah. I need to get one of those.
That was the best $500 I've ever spent. Yeah, best money
so
and I bought it during the pandemic when it was getting scalped too, and it was worth every penny.
Nice.
Yeah,
I keep telling John I want one, but he won't do it. He hates me.
No, I don't
John, come on, he needs one.
You've got a shiny Hawthorne chair.
He needs He needs a 4090 too.
That was my own hard work. You didn't pay for it.
Zankiel in the chat. Zankiel, yes, I do have very tiny feminine hands. I agree, and I'm sure that's a part of the problem with the Steam Deck and me, Steam Deck and I. Yes, my tiny hands.
Mine look so tiny too. Jesus.
No, mine are tiny.
Giant hands.
I have really little hands, and look at them. These are hands that have never done a day of manual labor in their life. Have a look at them.
Jesus.
No calluses. No,
just nice, clean, smooth.
I have hairy palms. I don't know why.
I'm Greek. You'd think I would have hairy palms, but I actually don't.
Anyway. Community questions.
Go on, hit it up.
Community questions. Okay, let's go. Bob Lawpel. Not a big COD fan, but have played some campaigns, and I will play on PlayStation first because of the added content if I decide to play multiplayer. See, the marketing works. But my question, what are the chances of new COD games coming to PlayStation beyond the current contract with Sony? I think in order to get Game Pass, to get past CMA, Microsoft might have to agree to a longer than 3 extra years of Call of Duty on PlayStation and come with a ban on COD on Game Pass during the same duration. And what's your favorite movie from the past 5 years? That's so random. That is so random.
I love
like last week, all over the place.
Like I'm
having to try to read it on the YouTube stream. But my question is, what are the chances of new COD games coming to PlayStation beyond the current contract with Sony? They always will. Originally, I was thinking that they would make them exclusive. But according to everything they've done so far, unless they're trying to get in some real legal trouble down the line, these games will stay on PlayStation for at least the next 10 years, I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing. What was the second part? I was on the same wavelength as you. I was like, why would you buy this if you don't plan to yoink it from your competitor? But now with their arguments across multiple different government entities between different countries, I don't think they can backtrack on what they've agreed to do. Personally,
I think the only caveat is that they treat COD as a platform like they do Minecraft, like they do any of the online games, right? And it makes so much money that it makes sense that they would keep it on those platforms. The only difference that when you get it on Xbox, you get it as part of your Game Pass sub. That's the differentiator. The only thing I would add that might change, and where Microsoft could say, yeah, we don't really feel like, maybe for this new console launch in 2028, we don't really feel like it's appropriate to, focus on multiple launch hardware. We're just going to focus on the Xbox for the exclusive COD for that year. And that's the point where I could see them maybe taking that swing and being like, I don't know.
So for next gen, I could see it for next gen, but we're talking 5, 6, 7 years. Right?
Yes. I think it'll be a next. I think the plan will have shifted now. So I think they're playing nice for now to get this deal through, and they'll keep COD on PS5 for the rest of this generation. Then from PlayStation 6 onwards, Warzone, whatever Warzone evolves into and becomes, Warzone will continue on PlayStation, and that will be them keeping PlayStation on keeping COD on PlayStation. But those traditional campaign multiplayer packages that we all buy each year, those will become exclusive from next gen on going forward. That's how I think they'll do it.
From what I know, that would have to be so much that changed internally for that to happen. Because the current way Warzone works is you buy multiplayer so you can level things up quicker for Warzone. If you don't have access to that on PlayStation at all, people on PlayStation might just stop playing.
There you go.
That's a big risk.
Counter argument.
That's a big risk because according to them, PlayStation is still their biggest their biggest player base is on PlayStation, not PC, not Xbox. So I don't know. I had very strong thoughts about it. Part of that is the
install base, though. Part of that is the install base. So the 360 had the bigger install base versus the PS3, which meant Xbox was their bigger platform, and that's where they had their marketing. So all that happened was that switched. The assumption is you make COD exclusive, suddenly Xbox grows a hell of a lot more anyway.
Yeah.
So suddenly PlayStation doesn't become the biggest COD platform as a result of that. Like, to me, that would be part of the point of buying it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. To answer the gentleman's question, I don't think you have to worry about that as a consumer for a long time, at least not on this current generation of consoles. By the time you have to even make that argument in your head of whether or not COD will or won't be on PlayStation, there will be a new console, and you'll be able to advise yourself on whether or not you want to go Xbox for COD or you want to go PlayStation for everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Favorite movie of the last 5 years?
Last 5 years, I haven't even watched.
Last 5 years?
Let me get the generic answer.
We were a bit
Battlefield. Sorry, I meant to say Blade Runner 2049.
Top Gun Maverick.
In that case.
Really? Top Gun.
Oh, man. Oh, June.
I need to see that. I don't go watch movies often, so Top Gun's one of the few that I went to a theater to see.
It's really good.
It was okay.
It made me feel real America. You know what I mean?
It was America.
America. Fuck yeah.
America. I'm trying to think what my favorite movie of the last... God, that's tough.
Black Adam. I love that one. Oi.
Black Adam. Black Adam was good. Like, that movie gets a bad rap. It gets a lot of garbage reviews. I watched it last night expecting, like, a horrible movie. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Go watch Black Adam. It's not that bad.
I wish I could say Halo. I enjoyed the Halo series. I was one of those
I enjoyed it as well. I mean, I'm hoping that they go back to more... The thing that bugs me with this is when you've got established lore and established books and established things that are really good. Funnily enough, I ended up rewatching the Artemis Fowl movie on Disney Plus with my kids. And Artemis Fowl has a series of books, very much along the lines of Harry Potter and stuff like that. But the books are, you've got an evil-ish 12-year-old Irish criminal genius who is old enough to and intelligent enough to exploit people and young enough to believe in magic and fairies. And he finds out that they exist, and he basically cons them and rips them off. It's basically a big heist movie, but it's fun. And they were so scared of having a protagonist, a hero, that wasn't actually good and was bad and was willing to imprison people that they completely wussed out and ruined the whole thing. And that's where I feel they kind of did with the Halo series. But yeah.
I've seen a lot of good movies, man. Like, I watch so many movies. It'd be hard. Nothing stands out immediately. Like, Coda was really good. Did you watch Coda? Children of Deaf Adults?
I know of it. I haven't got around to seeing it yet.
It was good. That Coda.
When did the new
really
Evil
good.
Dead movie come out?
Oh God!
I think that was more than 5 years ago.
Damn it! I was going to say I enjoyed that with Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ,
I was quickly
old.
checking when Mad Max Fury Road came out.
You're getting old.
Yeah,
How
that was
old are you?
2013, so that
I'm
was
27.
9 years ago.
Oh my god!
I got 2 kids, man. I got 2 kids. Once I had my first kid, I got old. That's how I felt
Kids
about
by
it.
27.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
one's 3
crap.
and the other one's 1.5 years.
Oh, congrats, man. Being a dad is cool. Being a dad is fun.
I'm
It was
42.
cool, except for I quit my job at that 20K Twitter follower mark, and then 3 months later, my wife's like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Time to grind.
I was like, "Oh, dude, we're about to be homeless." Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works.
Wow, that's a massive gamble.
If Bob had asked best movie of the last 10 years, the easy answer would have been Mad Max Fury Road. But as he asked 5, I would have to say Dune. Cinematically, music, artistry, just all impeccable. But Blade Runner 2049.
I have a community question for you guys. Just
Shoot.
a quick one. Don't explain your answer. Favorite Call of Duty of all time?
COD 2.
COD 4.
My man, I knew I liked you, John. Dude, I am one of the only people who I will go to bat for COD 2 like it
COD 2 is
birthed me.
good.
It just was
great.
one of the, out of all of the games I've played in my life, it took the biggest technical advancement like it was nothing and did it seamlessly. And I will never forget getting that as an install already ready with my original Xbox 360 the day I got it for Christmas. Oh my god, dude! Playing on
So
Tunisia, oh, such a good game.
There was
Thank
a
you.
level.
COD 2
there
was
was a
great.
multiplayer level in COD 2, and I used to really love it. It was like a broken down French town.
The French town, Saint Dumas. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, I think that's something
love
like that.
that
Saint
map.
something. But the map was great, and I used to love the set because it was all wooden and creaking, and you could hear people moving around, and you'd hear the little sting of the Rembrandt as it pinged off. Oh, it's so good.
Looking at this
I just
game on your
bought it.
YouTube stream, it still holds up graphically, man.
Yeah, I just bought COD 2. It was on sale. I just bought it because it's backwards compatible. I
That's
liked
amazing.
COD 2.
Go play through the
COD 2 was
campaign.
good.
Play through the
Yeah,
COD
it's
1 campaign and then play through the COD 2 one right after it, and then you'll be like, "Oh my god!"
I did COD 2 on veteran. That was one of the hardest veterans
Yes,
as
that
well.
one was hard. That was when that was when grenade spam originally started. That was the game that started it, and World at War was when it got worse.
World at War was just horrible. But I don't know. COD 4 is so special to me. I just love the modern setting. I just love the modern setting so much more than World War 2. Modern is just...
Interestingly enough, that's like my big COD thing that I know is that without COD 2 coming with Xbox consoles, Xbox 360s, that was when it grew over 100% in this market share. Like it became a household name.
Yeah.
But we got more community questions?
Yeah,
Yes,
we got 1, 2, 3. There's a few.
We've got a few.
Yeah, there's not many. It's like 7, and that's it. But
Hytham G. Hytham G. Last Saturday, what I mean is that let's say you guys do a war chest video when hopefully ABK gets certified without regulators being stubborn, especially the CMA that's being super stubborn. But if you guys place ever a bet on a corn dog on what studio Microsoft could buy, well, who would you guys pick and choose? And never mind about the list of studios I gave you guys last Saturday, because you guys already know the list. But your guys bet
on a corn dog. Well, I do that a lot. And
Listen, I think I just had a stroke reading this.
I've never had a corn dog before.
I want to know. What
yes,
betting
You
on
know,
this is.
Hytham, you know. I want Sega. I want Sega and Capcom. That's all I want.
P.S. If you guys had a chili dog and iced coffee all together where it made you guys take the huge giant number 2 from this thing,
Man,
brother.
iced lattes are the best.
Hytham, what have you been smoking, man? Last week
know.
he was asking me if
He's
I
been
never smoked a
smoking
hookah.
hookers. He's been smoking hookers.
What you got in those, bro? Like chili dogs, betting on corn dogs. The world's gone crazy for you, man.
I don't know.
I'm not actually fussed. Like, I don't have like a list of studios where I'm like, oh, I wish Microsoft owned them. Like, I just don't. Like,
No, I want Sega and Capcom.
I'm the only one I could think of off the top of my head. And I think I said this last time was Somerville, the Playdead studio, which I really like. He's getting the Game Boy out. I got a friend of mine.
I saw it sitting right next to me, and I was like, "This is a massive flex."
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who mods Game Boys as a business, and he does some really, really good stuff. Have a check out Deadpan Robot. Just Google them. He runs it out of a store in Birmingham, but he can like do crazy things to your Game Boys if you really want to enjoy them.
This is my OG one from when I was a child.
Still works?
Yeah, it still works. The only problem is I think you have to replace the batteries on these games, right? Like you have to go in and manually change them because I can play it and it'll run, but it won't save. Like it'll just the next time I start the game,
okay,
it
it's
won't
got
be
like a
save
CMOS
file.
battery thing.
Yeah.
It needs a new battery in it, I think.
Mental.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Dude, those are dope for $12, 12 euros.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff.
Okay. Next question. Creaky Legs. Let's get through these.
My
Hello,
ADD
all.
is strong.
This is likely my last post since John has locked me in his cellar to make TikToks and YouTube shorts for XboxEra now. Which you should definitely follow XboxEra on TikTok for fun, bite-sized content and breakout clips from the podcast. I'll do my best to update content weekly on it. If I stop posting TikToks though, it's probably because John forgot to feed me my weekly meal of uncooked Heinz beans over a cold piece of buttered toast.
It's true. Creaky does live now in a basement that I dug. It's basically a hole with a board over the top and some bricks, so he can't get out. But
This is mortifying.
yeah, well, he's a really nice
Beans on toast
guy.
is actually not bad.
Beans on
Toast
toast
is not
It's
bad.
fucking legit, man. Sprinkle
Really?
some
I don't
fucking
mind
mature cheddar on it. Loads of cracked black pepper. Look,
I don't
I know
mind
everyone mocks Jez, right? But he's weird because he takes it beyond just beans on toast.
Yeah.
Beans on thick white, like farmhouse bread, smothered in butter.
Toasted.
So good. Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah,
actually
really good.
it is actually quite nice. I never used
It's
to
a
mind
really
it as a
good,
kid.
quick dinner. It's lovely.
You know, I just got into an argument when I was at TwitchCon. A guy I was staying with is from the UK. We were arguing about how the full breakfast or whatever you call it over in the UK.
Yeah.
I was
The
like,
English
why the
breakfast.
fuck am I gonna wake up and am I gonna eat some dark black beans at breakfast? That doesn't sound good. And he was like, just put it on your toast. And I was like, why would I put beans on my toast? But then I thought about it, and when I got served chili by my southern family growing up, I always got toast or I got white bread to dip in my chili, and chili has beans in it. So now I'm willing to try it. I was honestly thinking it was
should.
very strange. I will try it. I'll try. Like, we talking like baked beans, like
Baked
normal
beans.
baked beans.
Heinz
baked beans.
You need to
And
find
just put it on
Heinz.
some toast or just white
Yep.
bread.
Straight
So
on the toast.
Yep, you just
It's gotta
literally
be toast.
I make
On
two
white
pieces of
bread.
toast. Yeah, white
On
bread.
toast. Nah, on toast though.
Yeah, but
Toasted, white bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Not
You
just
get two
plain.
pieces of toast, butter it up, plonk it on your plate, nuke your beans or put them in a pan, get them nice and hot. Just dump them on top. Doesn't matter what happens, and then sprinkle some grated cheese, cracked black pepper. Job done.
What stops
beans
y'all
can
from
be
making it
cold.
into a bean sandwich?
You can do that
It
too.
would just fall apart.
Oh
The
yeah,
bean juice. The bean juice will soggy into that toast. no matter
Nah,
what.
not if you have it quick enough. Not if you have it quick enough.
I mean, I'm good at
fine.
quickies. That's my wife.
That's fine. That's fine.
2 kids later.
Yeah, two
It's only the twice.
Thanks.
Really
Lost
quick,
my
but it
virginity
happens.
twice. Be careful out there, kids.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
you never know.
Couldn't pay me to have a third.
No.
I need a boy. I have 2 girls, so we have a
Oh
problem.
man, you're doomed.
Yeah,
I've
we
got
have a
one
problem. If I
girl.
have a third girl,
Don't fall into that
if I have
trap.
a third girl, it's
Don't
gonna be
fall
a
into that
fucking
trap.
problem, bro.
Don't fall into that trap. My uncle did that. He's like, nah. He was like, I've got to have a girl. I've got to have a girl. And he had 3 boys before he eventually got a girl with the 4th.
It's just different. I'm the last one with my last name in my real life family. Like, if I don't have a boy, my name dies. Like, it's just gone.
No pressure.
It's such
No
an
pressure,
old
bro.
school traditionalist.
I know. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, I mean, I could keep going, but I don't know if my wife's down.
Oh, that's like,
I got to take over for a second because I got to put something up here just for John. I know how much he loves it and how happy he is about this happening.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just gonna put this up on the screen.
What was...
Keep an eye on the site within the next few weeks. And for all of our unbelievably wealthy fans out there who are looking for a $1,600 chair, I will be reviewing the Hawthorne X Halo chair that they sent the review unit of.
I'm excited to see your review on it. Actually, this chair I'm sitting in is a new one from Herman Miller, my first ever Herman Miller they sent. It's the Phantom. I think it's like their new line that they came out with. It's $1,000. So I was like, bro, I'm never ever gonna sit in $1,000 chair. So I really want one of those though. Like those are badass.
So you say 1,000? This is like
Yeah.
1,600.
Yeah, and the other one that Herman Miller sells that gamers like Tim the Tapman and them sit in is called the Embody. I think that one is $2K.
I think this is just a standard office chair that was like $30 from somewhere. If anyone wants to send me a nice gaming chair, I'll gladly take it.
Hey, you should hit up, if you guys do want some nice gaming chairs, hit up Mavix. I worked with them before, and they sent over their like $600 model, and it's got a lifetime warranty on it. It's amazing.
See, I'm not ashamed, right? I am not ashamed. I saw that Hawthorne liked my tweet of me saying that I'm definitely not jealous of you having that chair and sitting in that chair right now. And I'm going to pick. I mean, look, it's a Halo chair.
It's
Look
going
at
to
where
take
I
a while.
am sitting.
The middle of next year, they're going international. Right now, it's just the U.S., but they have international plans. So yeah, keep
I'll do the international review.
Wait, that's not like an exclusive limited chair. I thought that was like they only made so many.
It's their Fern. See, they've got a Fern chair, which is like their biggest one, and this is just like a Halo branded one with UNSC and 117 on it. So they've already got this chair. It's just making this very nice looking in-person version. Hawthorne, based out of Michigan.
Okay. If Hawthorne, it's a football team in Australia too.
I know. I was thinking about that.
The Hawthorne Hawks, Hawthorne is an inner city suburb in Melbourne. It's actually a very nice, expensive suburb in Melbourne. If Hawthorne can outfit the whole XboxEra podcast team with those lovely Hawthorne Halo chairs, we'd be very.
They've been outfitting them for the Halo Championship Series, so they seem to have a lot of them.
3 ad spots per podcast for the next month.
Yeah, and I'll gladly do the podcast like this, so they can just see the chair like the entire time that we're doing.
That's what upsets me is look at my office. I have a Halo themed office. It's almost like the chair was meant to be here.
It should be.
I have a whole Halo poster back there in the background.
I've got a whole wall.
Yeah, you can only see on the YouTube stream. You can just see like his little itty bitty. Yeah, it's almost like getting chroma keyed out.
Yeah. It's a Halo 4 poster that I got.
How much is that helmet on your TV?
Oh, it's really cheap. It's only plastic, but it actually fits on my head.
I don't care. I'm gonna buy one.
I think you can get it on Amazon. It was like a Master Chief knockoff thingy.
Did you guys see the guy at TwitchCon that's worked with Meg Thee Stallion at the concert in the Halo outfit?
Yeah.
I met that guy. And he didn't even have a Twitter until the day after. So like on his suit, he had like a QWERTY code that you could take a picture of, and he had a website. He was like, I didn't even have a Twitter until I got on stage with Meg Thee Stallion. And everybody's like, what's your Twitter? I was like, dude. And he was like, yeah, that suit took me like $8,000 and like 9 months to make. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
The best looking cosplay I've ever seen in my life, though.
That's
he was on stilts or something too, because he was like 7 foot tall.
Yeah. There must have been something the way he built the suit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's standing on top of something. I don't know. He was walking all funny.
Yeah. It's full on.
People are really dedicated about that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Nuts.
I thought it was cool.
Yes. Okay. So that was baked beans. Anyway.
Tangent.
That was baked beans.
Second.
All right. Hugh. G'day, folks. Nick. Have you seen the new G'day short film by Tourism Australia? I thought it was done extremely well. He's got the YouTube link there. I actually was watching it just before. I didn't watch the whole thing, but the CG is surprisingly good in this. But I'll be honest, Tourism Australia does a lot of great ads, especially when they do muck around ones with celebrities. They do some surprisingly good ads, but I had not seen that until just now. There's this cool little unicorn. The CG is really, really good. John, what do you think the UK equivalent of a tourism video would be? Dodging stabbings in Cleveland, a nice stroll through Jaywick.
Jaywick is the poorest place in Britain. It's notorious.
Or perhaps visiting a food bank in London.
Yeah, look, people, let's get real here for a second. The UK is in a pretty bad way, all right?
Yeah, how's that Liz Truss going?
Man, she's out. She's out. And this is where it gets nuts. They're actually genuinely thinking of bringing back the guy that they made resign first. Like they are so devoid of talent or.
Wait, I always see UK people making fun of American politics. What the fuck's going on over there?
It's a shit show. And right now, the new Prime Minister, which will be the fourth one in 3 years or something nuts. Cameron to Theresa to Boris to Truss back to Boris. It's crazy, and that's decided by like 100 MPs, like the tiniest of slivers of this population.
The Queen died and everything fell apart.
Yeah, and if there was a general election, I'm pretty sure the Tories would not get back in for a while, for 5 years. But we're screwed. So feel bad for us. It's pretty rough. But it is what it is.
So the UK tourism ad would just be a trailer for Mad Max Fury Road. That would be
sounds
the
accurate.
UK tourism video.
Sounds
I
accurate.
reckon.
Yeah, like an
It would be
episode of
pretty
like
horrific.
Rick and
John's
Morty's
like-
episode of Mad Max.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be pretty horrific. It would be it would just be unpleasant. And everyone would be poor. There is a really good show you should watch if you can find a way to watch it on iPlayer or BBC World or wherever you are in the world, called Years and Years, that does a what if to 2019, and then Trump gets a second term, and then this happens, and then the banks fail, and then AI runs amok, and it just goes over 20 years of this average British family of the world just goes completely bonkers. Yeah, it's a
gotta
really interesting watch.
Out of every politician I've ever seen, Boris Johnson just looks the worst. He just
is-
does not look like he looks like he woke up out of bed every day and he's like,
Yeah.
here I fucking go.
It makes me.
Yeah.
There's a particular politician, and go Google him. There's a guy in the UK called Jacob Rees-Mogg, Rees Mogg, right?
Yeah.
Who votes for this guy? He may as well have a moustache to twirl and a monocle, and it's 2022. This guy, listen to him speak. Oh, I don't think you're very correct about that. I was born with a silver spoon up my ass.
He
Yada,
just
yada.
looks
And
like a
that is-
normal dude.
No, dude, listen to him talk. Like,
Oh, I'm talking
He-
like to look
listen
at
to
him.
this. Listen
He
to
just
this
looks
guy.
like a normal.
I just
He
watched
would not-
Norris wipe out a child.
Oh man, the football game. Seriously, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Nick, would not pee on you if you were on fire. He's like, no, you're not worth it. Like, he has no.
Okay.
He apparently, there was a story of like he was on tour when he was first campaigning to be an MP at 27 years old, going around with his nanny, and his nanny was like holding things over his back of his neck to prevent the sun. Like, we're talking this
Sunburn.
guy. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, who votes for
Yeah.
this guy?
So warped. He's very warped. Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Rand.
DeoGame. DeoGame. Hello, everyone. If ABK falls through, do you have any concerns as to Microsoft's ability to compete effectively going forward? At its core, you have the market leader rattling their saber and getting folks to fall in line. We've already seen what deals they sign by leveraging their market-leading status, but I worry if they have shades of 80s Nintendo by blocking third-party competition by highly penalising those who sign deals with Game Pass or Xbox. Also worried if emboldened regulators try similar bullshit tactics for any easier Microsoft acquisitions such as I.O. or something. I don't know. I'm very likely way overthinking this. The hypocrisy is just starting to get to me. And I'm on the tail end of a COVID recovery-induced 1.5 hour sleep, so it's probably nothing, right? No. There's a bit to it. How many times have you heard me say on this show, Microsoft just needs to be pricks? Like, Microsoft just needs to get meaner. Like,
Phil
if this
Spencer
deal,
can't do it. There's no way he's too
Yeah.
nice.
if this deal were in a hypothetical world where the deal gets blocked, yes, Microsoft just needs to get meaner. Because in the end, they have the money to. Like, there's certain things that regulators can't stop. Like money hats. Like buying smaller studios. Like, not that they can't stop those, but they wouldn't bother getting involved. Like, there's things Microsoft can do. They just need to be willing to do them, basically. They can do massive money hat Game Pass deals. They can do massive money hat exclusivity deals. They can do all sorts of stuff. It's just a matter of whether they do it or not. That's ultimately the question, because we know that money's not the issue, don't we?
Yeah.
We know that now. There's no problem with money.
Yeah,
So
shocking.
it's about whether they're smart enough to know what they need to do and whether they're willing to do it. Those are the two things I would personally question, as I have many times on this show.
Yeah.
I personally question whether they know the decisions to make or not.
Yeah, and I get that there are business decisions, but I agree with you, and it goes back to that conversation we've had: was do they get it yet? Do they get it?
I don't know if they do.
You know,
I don't
like
know if they do.
fully get it. Like what, where we talk about the E3 of Dreams. And Doug, do you remember the
Yeah.
E3 of Dreams PlayStation did?
Yeah.
Where and if you think about it in real pragmatic terms, what did they actually do? They announced a Kickstarter for Shenmue. They announced a trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was like 4 years away. And what was the third thing? There was one more thing.
Last Guardian? Was it Last Guardian?
Last Guardian has a release date, right? That was the E3 of Dreams for them. But it didn't make them any money, but it completely dominated the conversation. Microsoft could get an E3 of Dreams on the cards by announcing, here's a Banjo-Kazooie
Banjo remake.
Here's
Splinter
Killer
Cell.
Instinct 2. But they don't seem to do it, and
They
that
don't
is the
get
thing
it.
we talk about when they don't get that. There's
just
that
don't get
element
it.
of the marketing vibe.
I think it's a cultural problem for them because Microsoft, in their history, they haven't really had to market. Microsoft sold itself. If you bought a PC, you had to have it. They really haven't had to do much. Now they're in this whole gaming sphere, and yeah, they did good marketing with their Xbox, but now they're like in the trenches with some dirty, they're having to get dirty, and they don't seem like they're willing to get dirty, but Sony is clearly willing to get dirty without a problem.
Yeah.
So it's time to step it up a bit, get a little more cutthroat to it. I think the last time I remember Xbox having a phenomenal E3 was the Halo 2 demo that ended up having a whole documentary made about it. That's still the best E3 I've ever seen in my life.
That demo still had more vibe.
They're releasing that this year, right? By the way, you guys would know more about that than me. I want to play that. That was my childhood, was watching that demo, and that convinced my dad to let me go up to the movie gallery where I live and rent it for a week.
Nice.
If you weren't there the minute that the game came out, that shit was taken by somebody for like 3 months.
Yeah. Funnily enough, like that demo was all smoke and mirrors. They had people manually deleting
That
stuff.
shit was basically
after the
about to
camera was
explode. Yes.
like pure like smack.
That's what I think it's about, though. That's what you got to do. That's what marketing really is. Like, make yourself look as good as you can. Don't let them find out what happens behind the scenes.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. That's how I am here.
Hey.
Oh,
and I know, random tangent. I was busy, and apologies. I was so sad about not having the Halo chair that I had to try and find the photo of that back wall when it was all looking beautiful and new to post on that tweet. So apologies for that. But I forgot to say that Australia video was Seth Rogen the voice for the unicorn.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Go and watch that again. I haven't looked at the trailers, but it sounded so Seth Rogen-y to me that I was like, is this Seth Rogen? But anyway, random tangent. Sorry. Carry on.
No, that's not Seth Rogen. That's not Seth Rogen.
Okay.
I just had a quick listen. That's not Seth Rogen. No. Okay. TornRaptor. Who doesn't like to be called Tom Raptor anymore?
He doesn't?
Hi, gents. Nick. You manage the Xbox Game Studios OT, and it's wonderful. You have all the studios listed with a paragraph about them and all their games they have made and are working on. You also have a spot for rumours. When do you think you will start filling them out?
Get your shit together, Nick.
If I was allowed to, TornRaptor, I would, especially that Roundhouse one. I'd really want to fill out that Roundhouse rumour one. If I knew trouble wouldn't follow, I just go with the other rumours that are out there in there. I don't go with my stuff. I don't. Actually, when does that OT tick over? Is it 10,000 or 20,000?
Which one? When did you take it over? Or when does it get a new one?
When does it automatically tick over to a new thread? Is it 20 or 10?
It's 10K.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's going to be really soon then. I haven't whipped anything up. It's just going to have to look the same for one more. And then I'll work on maybe a new look.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm not going to start filling them out with my stuff. I'm not allowed. Usually I ask. Okay, good old Collingwood. Hello, John, Nick, and Jesse, and welcome Modern Warzone. First, an apology to Modern Warzone. I watched Jack Frags instead. I've heard of Jack Frags. Who's Jack Frags? I've heard
Jack
the name.
Frags is a super popular YouTuber who first got big off of Battlefield. He's a very nice guy. We've talked several times, and I didn't know that he basically knew who I was until I went to the COD Next event, and he did a live stream of it, and I had a little interview section, and he's like, Doug's a legend. Most people know me as Modern Warzone. You guys met me tonight as Doug. So Jack's a very cool guy. I have no issues with that. I haven't posted a YouTube video in 9 months, bro. I need to get on my shit. All right. So of course you watch Jack Frags.
Okay.
He's gonna make a comeback. He's gonna take that personal.
I'm going ham this year for MW2. I just haven't wanted to spoil the campaign yet. I'm in that weird thing where I really want to talk about spoilers, but I also don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. If we were a couple of weeks down the line, we could spoil to our heart's content.
I just discovered by accident a new feature on the forum. That's really cool.
Which one?
Where I just highlighted something and it popped up with a little thing saying quote.
Yeah, that's been there since launch.
No way. No,
yes,
it hasn't.
Mate.
I just discovered that now.
Like, we're a modern platform, and it's a great tangent for me because the forum did see a bunch of new updates this week. So we've added a new sidebar where you can customize what you want to see. Pre-drag, if you go look in the tags section, Pre-drag has cleaned up every post on the forum, cleaned up all the tags, and they're now all sorted in categories: Bethesda, Game Pass, off-topic, platforms, publishers, general video games.
Join the forum, Doug?
Yeah,
I have not. I need to manage my own subreddit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Feel
and we've
free
also
to
got...
join, Doug. We'll verify you.
Okay, I'll hop in there. I'll just start spewing fake rumors and watch them pop up on Gaming Leaks and Rumors.
Even Phil Spencer is on our forum.
Oh, wow.
So join the forum. It's the cool place to be.
It's a cool kids place. But we also added featured topics as well, which I think is really, really nice on desktop. It looks really, really cool. So we can highlight stuff that we want you guys to see. And it's looking pretty slick nowadays. Quite pleased.
Okay. Sorry
What
about
was the question? No,
let's keep going. He said he watched Frank said, he goes, modern. May I call you Mod for short? You call him Doug. There are generally 3 popular modern military first-person shooter multiplayer games on the market: Call of Duty, Battlefield, and The Division. Could Crossfire X count as well? No. What are the differences between the feel of the games? Why would one person be attracted to one game and not the others? John, Nick, Jesse, who is better, James Bond or John Price?
You guys go ahead and answer that one. John Price, Captain
John Price.
Price.
That's Captain Price from COD, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he's
Bond.
good.
Come on, it's James Bond.
Price is pretty good fun, but
James Bond.
it's got to be Bond.
Price hung a man, almost died, and then lit a cigar after to wind out the original first series. I don't know if James Bond has a moment that cool.
James Bond.
I'm with you guys though. No, James Bond is more iconic.
Yeah.
So his question is, what separates those 3 games: Call of Duty, Battlefield, and The Division,
In terms
potentially
of
Crossfire X?
The feel of the game.
I actually have a very good answer for this. So Call of Duty is all about the gunplay and how you feel shooting your guns. That's why the time to kill is so quick. It's almost cathartic to be able to have a gun that feels realistic and connected to you, the player, shoot somebody and see them just drop like a fly. That's their philosophy. Battlefield is for people who are looking for grandiose battles. And when I think of Battlefield and I think of the perfect way to encapsulate that franchise, is Battlefield 1 with the Goliath things that would spawn in, like the blimps and stuff. That's what I play Battlefield for, is for crazy shit.
Spectacle.
People everywhere. It's a spectacle. And then when it comes to The Division, I play that for more of the RPG element / Destiny in a more realistic setting that's not full of aliens and Halo type shooting. When you asked about Crossfire X is the closest thing to Call of Duty. They're really, really trying. I feel like a lot of companies are stuck between the space between a hero shooter like Overwatch and between a fast TTK game like Modern Warfare. Crossfire X also is struggling very hard with an identity crisis. I've gotten to play it. I can't really talk about much of what I played of it since it's early access, blah, blah, blah. But based on my feedback I gave them, I told them that they really have to separate themselves or else the game is pointless. I'd rather go play COD. It feels better. It's less cartoony. But when it comes to those 3, I think that those are the 3. You hop on Call of Duty to have a random bullshit night with your buddies. You can do the same for Battlefield, but you can do that with a much bigger squad and in bigger sized battles. Battlefield's also more about vehicle warfare and class-based systems, except for 2042. I don't even consider that game a Battlefield game at this point. And then The Division
it will be getting classes in the middle of next season.
Yeah, no, it's too late. By the time that they get classes, Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops game mode will release with classes. That's sad. That is extremely sad.
Doug, have you played Hell Let Loose?
I have not, but I've watched plenty of streams of it. So I play a lot of Escape from Tarkov and stuff, like realistic shooters too.
Hell Let Loose is according to several friends of mine that have played it religiously, is the literal realistic shooter. So you got one guy who's giving out orders to the captains, and the captains have to then get their team, and the comms works that way. And if you don't comm, you are going to fail. But it is, you get seen and you get shot, you're dead.
There's another game that question forgot to include is Squad. You know, in games like Arma. Squad is a game that's kind of sort of like Arma, but it's the most realistic game you could possibly get. There's a commander, and he calls where airdrops go and all that stuff, and everybody's a one-shot kill. Can't really be rezzed. But yeah, there's multiple games out there, but it's impossible to take a market share away from COD. So I would say what separates them the best, the game that does the best. So Battlefield and COD were always fighting each other. That's the problem, is that 2042 flopped when COD was on a down year with Vanguard, and then 2042 made everybody think it was going to be the savior, and it ended up being worse than any Battlefield game ever released. You cannot flop like that when you're in the spotlight. I don't see Battlefield recovering from that for a long time. But they were the competitors. Now there's not really that competitor, which is why the marketing for Modern Warfare 2 was non-existent until like a month ago. And then all of a sudden it's on top of the news. There's nothing really to look forward to. The game that's done it best, out of your question, is The Division. The Division separated itself as a completely different style, feel. You could still play with your friends, shooting people. The gunplay felt great. Bullet sponge enemies were a thing in that, and those were in the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. But there's not a whole lot to separate them. There's really not. It's a brand.
You know what had a tangible effect on COD and was like the greatest multiplayer shooter ever? Titanfall. Yeah, no, I make that argument all the time. People always try to tell me Backlash 3. Titanfall 1 was... The multiplayer in 1 is so much better, though.
And everybody... I stopped playing during the advanced movement areas of COD, so I came back for BO3, but everybody was all hype about it, saying that they did this, and that better, and that it should be higher on my tier list because of that. And my answer is always Titanfall did it better, and they did it first. Why would I give this game praise for copying another game system and doing it less smoothly? I'm not going to. I mean, sure, Black Ops 3 had the best movement in COD history. I don't give a shit, because the people that left Infinity Ward way back in the day to go make Respawn Entertainment ended up making a better movement system before COD even thought about it. So,
like, Titanfall had a tangible effect on COD. It affected at least 3 Call of Duty games after it. At least 3.
People won't even entertain that argument. They're like, oh, but COD is better than Titanfall. Look at what happened to Titanfall. Well, you can blame EA for that. Fuck them.
That's right. Like, Titanfall 1, oh my god. That's still my favorite multiplayer shooter.
I still get pissed that Tom Henderson was, like, trying to leak this past year that Titanfall 3 was a real thing. I would have been very excited, but I will never get my hopes up. It's done. I mean, Apex Legends is the go-to.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
It's not the same, no.
Not the same.
It'll never be the same.
You can't, like, Titanfall, and the way the map, in number 1 especially, the way the maps were designed to encourage you running up a wall, through a window.
They can't do it again, though, Nick.
It's like,
they can't do it again because Call of Duty ruined the public perception of advanced movement systems. Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare ruined that for you.
Just... God, I adore Titanfall 1 so much. You can't see it on camera, but I've still got my launch day Titanfall foil poster thing up there too.
I still haven't played those campaigns, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Titanfall 2 campaign is fantastic. Like, it's up there with
one of the best shooter campaigns in history. Titanfall 2. It's just incredible.
Random tidbit of a thought in the last one before the next question, but I just thought of a game that did change the shooting era for every game. It doesn't ever get credit. Fucking Time Splitters, bro. Yeah, Time Splitters was way ahead of its time. Time Splitters 2 especially.
Yeah. I enjoyed Time Splitters, but I feel like all of the custom options were in Perfect Dark before they were in
I remember playing Perfect Dark Zero.
But Perfect Dark ran at like 12 FPS, so maybe it didn't get the love it truly deserved.
Perfect Dark on 64. Well, that's the thing. Most of the team at Rare that made GoldenEye and Perfect Dark left to form Free Radical.
Yeah,
similar to a Respawn thing, similar to Infinity Ward and Respawn. Very similar situation.
It's crazy how many of those have happened in gaming, and those companies end up still staying on top, even though they get split in half.
But some of them also, like, so Marcus Lido, for example, left Bungie. He was there with creating Halo, left Bungie. He made that V1 Interactive Studio that made that really bad... What was that game?
Disintegration.
Yeah, man, that game was... And they were working on that for a long time. Disintegration. Yeah. Long time.
Sucks to flop like that, big time.
That game was not good at all.
It really does.
Okay. Next question. Skeddadle. Happy spooky season, everyone. Question for Doug. With Microsoft about to own Call of Duty, they will see the importance of having the entire back catalogue added to Game Pass. Unfortunately, with the older titles, including the backwards compatible 360 games, the multiplayer has been abandoned to hackers. Call of Duty will see an influx of new players to many of the older titles, but in their current state, this will be a bad look for Xbox Game Pass. Do you feel Microsoft will want to update these older titles and clean them up of hackers before adding them to Game Pass? That's an interesting question.
It's a very, very good question, Skeddadle, and that's probably one of the best ones I've had concerning Call of Duty in a while. Are you guys familiar with what he's talking about? The problem with the old games multiplayer servers, you'll get ratted.
They are hacked to shit.
Yeah, they will literally. I got on MW2 my third month of having the Modern Warzone Twitter to do like a little stream or something for some content. And my second game on, a guy's flying across the map and reset my entire original MW2 account and combat record. It's all gone.
Wow.
That was my life. I remember I lost it. But all my guns. I don't know. It's just what people fucking do. I don't know.
Ruining your day.
It seemed like my game got weird, and then it made me leave the game. And when I went in the menu, I was level 1, never had prestige, didn't have anything unlocked. My combat record, 0 days on the game, everything. But that is a great question from you. We've already answered your question when we talked earlier about what Microsoft has come out and come forth with the CMA, is that whole thing that you're talking about, all the games being backlogged, backwards compatible, and on Game Pass is not going to happen, but I'll humor you theoretically. I think with Microsoft's money that they would immediately, if they found out that was going to be a problem and people would be ratted, their financial, personal, private information would all be at risk, they would either shut the servers down, or they would come up with a new universal experience for all the old COD games on one thing. They would pay one of these. There's 3 separate mod teams right now that do modded clients for Call of Duty. Like you can play Modern Warfare. You can play COD 4. You can play MW2. You can play MW3. You can play BO1 on these certain websites that have them modded, and I also have server protection. I think that Microsoft would go through the trouble of buying them, getting them to install that mod with that server protection and port it over, and they would just call it a day. I don't think that they would take the time to get a AAA studio to go in and actually fix it, because it's a problem with the net code as much as I understand it. Like they had to completely recode the networking of the games to make these problems no longer happen. Some video games today still have the same ratting problem that those old games have. I know it's a problem on NBA 2K and on Madden and all the other sports games. They can directly pull all your info and just cut you off the internet if they want to. But it is a huge problem that doesn't get talked about, and the Activision is swept under the rug. I just spent $580 buying every Call of Duty game, and that was at a 50% discount. So that's over $1,400, $1,500 worth of games that half of the game is inaccessible to me, and they still sell them at full price. And you still have to buy the DLC. I don't even own the DLC, and I spent that much money.
That's crazy.
If that were to happen, I think that Microsoft would nip that shit in the bud, or else somebody would try to sue them, in my opinion.
I think it's a fair comment, right? They can't.
So what you're saying is, don't go back and play those
negligence,
old CODs.
in my opinion. It'd be gross negligence. Activision has never acknowledged the problem, but the way that Microsoft handles their PR, I would assume they would acknowledge it and advise people on. It's only a problem on consoles or on Battle.net or wherever. But they would advise people like, hey, don't go on multiplayer. This, and that'll happen. And as soon as they admit responsibility, they know it's a problem, I would see them getting sued.
Yeah.
If they didn't fix it.
Jeez.
Okay. Interesting. So what you're saying is
Good
don't
answer.
go back and play the multiplayer on
It's
COD
sad
4
because
or
I did
Modern Warfare 2.
I had a viral like trending thing I did like 9 months ago. It was BO2 Revival Day, and like every big website did an article on it. We got the peak. We had 145,000 people go back and play Black Ops 2. Like that was insane. The problem is that people assumed because of my name that meant Black Ops 2 was free. So first of all, I had people complaining that they couldn't just go, install the game and play for free. Second of all, I didn't know about that ratting problem when I first tweeted it. And man, I woke up to a lot of people saying like, yo, you cannot advise people to play this on console. This will cause big problems. And I'm sitting here thinking like, bitch, I'm not Activision. It's not my fault. Like, what do you mean? But I found out that it was a pretty bad problem. So I would think that Microsoft, if they did do that, which is 5, 6, 7 years away, would nip that in the bud. if they knew about
I
it.
hope so.
They probably won't even know about it. It seems like a lot of these top people within gaming, what is the word? Departments of big companies like that don't know what the fuck is going on within their own communities. So
Mad. Absolutely mad.
Okay. Second last question. JWhite723. Hey guys. Here's a question not directly related to Warzone. Apologies for going off topic, and I'll make sure this question is shorter than my last one.
That's a lie.
Not.
This song.
It is not.
This is an essay.
It is.
This
very
is an
long.
essay.
can we get the cliff notes?
Yeah, he kind of summarizes it at the end.
TLDR.
I know you've discussed the possibility, or inevitability if you ask Nick, of Xbox creating a handheld device. As I'm extremely excited about the idea, I'm still a little confused on what would be the best strategy to produce such a product. I believe you said in order to produce a handheld device that runs games locally, they would have to have the developers create a new version just for the Xbox Portable. I don't believe that's the case. There have been several announced devices that will allow players to stream games through Game Pass and NVIDIA GeForce Now, including the Logitech handheld that Xbox apparently helped create advertise. However, a system that runs games locally would be an instant purchase for me and the ideal way to play. I don't know anything about developing games, so you might have to explain this to me like I'm 5, but here are my thoughts. Instead of having to develop a new version for the Xbox Portable, why don't they just use a device that can run PC versions? So a Steam Deck? Aren't all the new Xbox exclusives both on the Xbox and PC? The Steam Deck is doing really well so far, and some people have even managed to get xCloud and Game Pass on theirs, but I think that's through streaming. Would it make sense for Microsoft to try and make an Xbox device similar to the Steam Deck, or just go to Valve and say, hey, we want to put Game Pass on Steam Deck locally? The Steam store plays PC games locally, if I'm not mistaken. I'm assuming Valve doesn't want any competitors for the service on their own device, but honestly, where would Steam be without Microsoft and their PCs? Plus, imagine how many new Xbox console customers they would get if they created a special Xbox version of the Steam Deck. That would be pretty cool. With their massive financial power, Microsoft could assist with making the original Steam Deck even more powerful instead of having to start from scratch on their own product. Nick keeps mentioning the Series S is just a little bit larger than the Steam Deck, and that they would have to figure out how to shrink the fatness of it down to be similar to that of a Steam Deck. Just use the Steam Deck. They've already figured it out. Creating their own device would allow them to make more profit from each one, but it might take longer to develop and would be more costly, right? I have no idea. So to sum it all up, and by God, looking back at this, I've realized I failed at making this question shorter than my last one. What do you believe would be a better idea for Xbox? Make their own handheld device that uses a console version of the game, make their own handheld device that uses a PC version of the game, make their own handheld device that requires developers to create a new third version of the game. Work with Valve and find an agreement to beef up the Steam Deck specs and put Game Pass on locally. Again, sorry for the long post, I have failed you. I'm going to give the same answer I always give. Portable Series S. That's it. That's all they're going to do. A portable Series S.
I'm going to give it slightly longer.
Developers don't have to do anything because there's already a Series S version.
Well, that's not strictly true. So I get where
What? Yes, it is.
No, let me finish. Now, I'm no video game developer, but to my knowledge, I get the idea of where this is going. But if you make the Steam Deck, if you make it just run the PC versions, well, what about all of the legacy backwards compatible content that is available on Game Pass from previous consoles? Immediately, you're cutting that consumer off of that product, right?
Why?
Unless it's streaming via cloud, because there might not be a PC version of it that exists to run on PC hardware. That runs
yes, if you're talking about the PC thing. Yes, sorry. Yes.
So Series S, yes, in theory, I have no doubt that right now you could probably get some version running off a battery. But as the clock speeds and the power draw ratios and all of that stuff, if you were to plug a Series S into a battery of a decent size, say equivalent to what's in the Steam Deck, it would be dead very, very quickly, like shockingly quickly. And the Steam Deck's battery life is apparently already a pig. The Series S is built to be plugged into a wall, so they've got to solve a couple of problems there. So
that's fine.
In a very broad sense, I agree with you that a Series S portable would make sense, but it's not going to be, I imagine it wouldn't be the exact same version. They would have stuff where it would be like, if recognized portable, like in their GDK, if Series SP drop the res to this and do X, Y, and Z. Fundamentally the same game, just like it is on Series X, and arguably just like it is on PC to a degree, but there's different power and cost ratios to take into account. It isn't as simple as grab the motherboard from a Series S and whack it on a screen and you're done.
Of course it's not that simple.
That's the only point I'm making.
It depends how far away it is. No one is saying this device has to come out next year. What if it comes out in 2025?
Sure.
Remember, the Series S has existed already for 2 years, and it was designed and planned another year or more before that. So by 2025, it's been like 7-8 years. I'm fairly certain that in 8 years, they will have figured out a way to get the Series S into a portable form factor, even if it's a chunky portable form factor. Yeah. If Microsoft were to be doing a native portable console, I don't see a world where it's anything other than a portable Series S. Yeah. I don't see them doing anything else because that's the best solution that covers all bases. So it's easier on devs. Devs don't have to think about it because the Series S version just runs. It's better for consumers because they know they can play all their existing games without any issues. They just run and their save file is just there and it's not cloud-based, so it doesn't matter if there's no super reliable internet connection. There just has to be an internet connection that works to get that save file. It's just, to me, it's the best option that covers all bases. It means they can have their little expansion card plugged straight into it and just work with the handheld.
Oh, gotcha. It'd be amazing.
It is the best option they have.
I'd love
portable Series S.
I'd love it.
It'd be amazing. It would kick ass in Japan. It's also the device that would give them a genuine leg up in Japan.
It'd be pretty good. What do you reckon, Doug? Would you like a Series S portable? Would you pick one up? So Xbox, all of the native games working in a portable device like a Switch?
Imagine that. Modern Warfare 2. Just fucking at 120 on a little...
It'd be cool. I think that you guys hit the nail on the head with the beginning talks of it, is that it's such a large market, but it's also such a niche market. I'm in that setting to where if I'm going to play things portably, I'm most likely just going to take a gaming laptop. But I'm in a very niche subset of people who own a gaming laptop with stuff like that in it. After having a Steam Deck in my hand, I could definitely see it taking off, but I just don't know if Microsoft is willing to, like, it's so, and it's like, it's infinitesimal, like right now it's so tiny, like the market share that this will take, when they could just jump in 5 years down the line when it's all hammered out and not spend the production and the design and the research and all that. They can just copy an idea and improve it, kind of like the PlayStation did with the Elite controller.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a while, personally. But if there was one,
I don't think
absolutely I would get one. I wish that it wouldn't be platform specific, because that's the beauty of the Steam Deck. You can play pretty much any publisher's game on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It needs to be open. Like, you need to be able to play any video game possible.
But
it needs to be a portable
not going
PC.
to do an open one.
I know, but it needs to be a. But then why would I not get a Steam Deck?
You wouldn't have access to all of the legacy Xbox content, so it would be for an Xbox player only.
It would literally be a Series S in a handheld. So all those 360 backwards compatible games, all those OG backwards compatible games.
I know, but that's cool. But is that worth me not being able to play Spider-Man or God of War on it?
That's your decision.
That's the argument, in my opinion. It's like, true. I don't see the need for it right now, is what I'm putting.
But
the Steam Deck already fills the need.
But then the Steam Deck can't play other things. The Steam Deck can't play Fortnite.
Can't play Fortnite, true. But that's not because of brand or exclusivity. It just can't do it. It is?
Of course it is. Fortnite's not on Steam, is it?
No.
Oh, you're right. It's on the Epic Game Store.
That's what I'm saying.
But then,
so you're making a choice of giving games up regardless.
That's Epic's fault.
You can mod a Steam Deck
But it's
to
the
run
same
Windows.
thing, though.
You can mod a Steam Deck to run Windows, so you can basically jailbreak a Steam Deck.
But that's the beauty of the Series S. You don't have to mod it. It's just your Xbox console.
It's the thing with the Switch. The easier it is, the more people use it. Because
while
we will do modding, because like if it is a Series S and you can dock it or use it in handheld, that's what pushes the Switch. Is you can do either or.
Right. So all of a sudden, you've got a device that can play Call of Duty,
it just
Modern
works.
Warfare 2.
Todd Howard.
And it's Fortnite, and it's Rocket League, and it's Overwatch 2 and its multiverses, and it all just does it with that simplicity of an Xbox console.
It just works.
And the little card that you had plugged into the back of your Xbox that's got all those games installed will just come out and pop straight in, and away you go. Like that's the idea. The idea is giving that console simplicity on the go, like the Switch does. But
I just think it would take a while.
Next gen hardware. Oh, look, I wouldn't expect this device anytime before 2025.
I'm thinking I don't know. I feel like if they were to pursue something like this, they would wait for a while to even get started on it. But I could be wrong because I've already seen that pre-production thing. What's his face had the cloud gaming device. Is that kind of on the same?
Yeah.
I don't have it. You guys are much more educated on those topics than I am, though. I'm just speaking from a guerrilla, consumer.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
Yeah. No,
it's pretty much any single way that they can get people into Game Pass Ultimate is what they want. They want you to get into that sub.
Yep. Cloud is an option, but I still think they will eventually want a native device.
Yeah.
Okay. The Ashen Cohen 09. Last question. Ooh, we're there. 2.5 hours. What do you make of the CMA's idea? Oh, we talked about this. What do you make of the CMA's idea to open up the public for comments? It's a very stupid idea. I'd hate to be the intern guy shifting through the countless fanboy emails. Also, are any of you fans of Silent Hills? And what did you make of the event in the week? Well, Ashton, we covered.
Totally did answer those.
We should have read out that question during it. Yeah, we covered both of those things. Them opening it up to and the CMA being the way they are. Which emails do you reckon they're more likely to read? The one from people saying, no, we want COD on Game Pass so we can save money? Or from the Sony fanboys saying, protect our console from losing COD?
Wait, the CMA asked for public opinion? Are they fucking stupid?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like the dumbest
they pretty
thing.
much they always do. It's one of their normal things. They just haven't waded into this troll-fizzled of an arena before.
As somebody who runs polls weekly for things, I can tell you that I run them and it's cool to see them. Internet polls and the opinions of the vocal minority on the internet don't mean a damn thing, and none of that affects the law. Why is this even a thing?
It's
the
mental.
law is the law.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, I know.
It's
the American thing hasn't had any type of questions like y'all's has had. I expected it to go easier through your stuff than our stuff.
Unfortunately,
so did
UK is totally.
So did I.
So I really did. I thought that they would get hung up in American politics and lobbying and all this, that, and the other. I did not think the UK would be like, hey, this is bad for Sony.
Microsoft knows the US. The thing with the UK, though, and I think John can talk about it, is just how messed up the government is right now. And they're really trying to find a way to look good in various
it doesn't
arenas.
Look good to ask random gamers for their opinions.
From a UK perspective, Brexit and the exit from the European Union, the government and all the Tory parties touted it as this reclaiming our sovereignty, excluding from the fact that this isn't the 1940s anymore, and we're a tiny country in a world stage, right? We haven't got our empire anymore. The good old days are gone and are not coming back. But they seem to feel by adding a load of bureaucratic kind of red tape that we're claiming back. We've got the power now. Before, there wouldn't have been a UK authority. It would have just been under the EU Commission, and I think that would have been it.
Yeah.
But now, we're going to flex and we're going to cause it. And you've seen them do that with Giphy and Facebook. They made Meta sell Giphy.
But that made a little bit more sense.
It did in the sense that Facebook already do have this huge lion's share, right?
That's exactly
the argument
right.
Doesn't really work when you look at it through a gaming lens towards Microsoft, which is why I find it a bit distressing or worrying that they are therefore putting completely different lenses on how to view it. They're not viewing it. They're taking a very Sony argument, pro-stance view.
That's why everyone's coming up with the conspiracy theories that they're in the pocket. Because how can you not come to that conclusion with the stupid shit they're saying?
One of the guys on the independent panel is named Humphrey Bannock. Could you get a more English? Yeah. I mean, who is it? Is this guy 73? Thinks Pong is the height of technology nowadays.
So if Jim, who is from the UK, is taking meetings with some of his buddies, They're not gonna. They're gonna look after the UK guy and not the Americans.
I read. I can't remember, but I believe that Phil and team were in the UK recently, meeting with the CMA on this.
I don't know.
So,
Where the FTC, Microsoft, someone I can't remember who brought up this point, but Microsoft has spent decades becoming the American government's favorite tech company. So
that was after they got rinsed by the government for doing some real shitty shit.
Windows and Office and other dodgy
rinsed.
stuff.
They got rinsed. They're still on the back burner from most government officials.
Yeah, they drummed Netscape out of the business by, auto defaulting Internet Explorer on the OS and not giving consumers choice and yada yada yada.
Oh, but no one questions the shit they used to do.
Modern
Absolutely
Microsoft is a million miles away from that. So
far away. And I mean, in the end, what else can you go on aside from modern Microsoft?
Exactly.
Because here's the stupidity of people that reference the old days. The old days of Sony in the video game space were just as bad as Microsoft's old days in the PC space, and Nintendo's old days were even worse. So you got to decide when you're going to take the old days into account and when are you not.
Yeah.
And I mean Sony old days. Sony's current days are just as bad with all the money heading and all the dodgy
Nintendo's still in the old
deals.
days.
Nintendo's in the old days in another way. With the money heading and with the blocking crossplay and with Sony's still doing that stuff up until very, very recently. So the CMA doesn't appear to have any actual reason for trying to defend Sony's market position at all. Like, it's just the most bizarre thing going on right now. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah. Now, that's the last of the community questions, but there is a super chat, which is great that it reminded us because we have our thing where we ask our guests. We just Santoso, Doug, you already answered in the chat, I'm noticing. I like your answer. So we just Santoso asks Doug, Friends, yay or nay? Do you like the TV show Friends?
Oh, no. It's not that I don't like it. I've only seen a little bit of it. And when I was told by all of my friends that it was great, I was like, okay, let me try it. But I had the same opinion of The Office the first time I watched it, and I had to give it a second chance, and now I love The Office. I just don't think Friends will do it for me. It's too old school comedy.
Yeah, it was before your time.
It's just a little bit before.
They are boomers and you're a zoomer.
I grew up on like Boy Meets World. That's like the next step past Friends.
Oh God, that was the worst.
What?
Boy Meets World was terrible.
Listen, it was good for people my age at the time. Okay, it helped me through my adolescence.
Yeah, I guess so. Boomers. Why do you say boomer? I'm Gen X. I'm not a boomer. My parents are boomers.
Young people call anyone that's old a boomer.
I know. Young people call anyone over the age of 30 boomer, but that's...
Most boomers wouldn't even be able to open up their computers, so...
Yeah, it's weird.
True boomers.
True boomers can't. My dad's actually one of those rare exceptions. He's surprisingly good with...
My dad's still standing in the living room. Yeah, thank you. My dad's still standing in the living room. He just walked in, actually. He got the Modern Warfare 2 campaign earlier. This motherfucker is standing up. I gave him a chair, and he was like, no, I got to stand up. He's like... and he's like 66 years old, bro.
Oh, amazing.
God, my dad's 62.
He couldn't even change the brightness, so he set the brightness to too high, 60. And he was like, son, I can't see nothing.
66.
I was like,
my
okay,
dad's 64. My dad's 64. My dad's,
yeah, well, that makes sense. My dad, I was born, I'm the youngest in my family, so my sisters are both like 12 and 13 years older than me.
I'm the oldest son. I'm the oldest son at 42, and my dad is 64.
I did have one thing, so you guys asked me your question. Every podcast I go on, I like to say something that's semi-exclusive, you guys can use it in a clip or whatever you'd like to. So I'm just going to come out and say it. This isn't source-backed, so don't go crazy. I think that Jason Schreier's reporting on Modern Warfare 2 is wrong. I do not think that there are 2 years of support for this game. I think that when he is talking about support, he's talking about a campaign DLC, and that is recently leaked that there's a campaign DLC, and I've heard that is true. There's also supposed to be a multiplayer DLC, which is going to be a combination of all of the fan favorite maps from Modern Warfare 2, the original one, as well as other fan favorite maps from other CODs. And currently, they're reporting that as premium DLC. let me ask you fellas something to make sure I'm not crazy. If you're releasing 12 plus multiplayer maps and you're releasing a new full campaign, is that not a full fucking Call of Duty game?
Sounds like it to me.
Sounds like it to me. I think that something has been misunderstood here. I do think that next year we will have a new Call of Duty title that will cost people $40 to $60. And it's not going to be marketed. It's not going to be marketed as a DLC. The way I look at it is an expansion pack. I know that a DLC is basically an expansion pack, but they're talking about using this new Call of Duty all in the same engine as Modern Warfare. The new engine is the one for all the games moving forward. And I told you that there's a new thing called COD HQ. And also, Activision also owns Blizzard. So why would they not just follow the Blizzard pattern of releasing expansion packs that are paid for within the same infrastructure?
Could it be
that feel almost like the same game, but have different settings and functions?
Could it be an expand-alone? You know how some games get expand-alone games?
Potentially.
Kind of like,
but I think it'll have its own title. It's not going to be like Modern Warfare 2 Year 2 DLC. I think it's going to have its own name.
I'm going to throw it out here because Nick hasn't
like Gears Hivebusters. Like Nick. Gears of War Hivebusters.
Yeah, you need to finish the game before you kind of get why I'm saying this.
I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to spoil it. So what was Modern Warfare 2, the original, known for? What was the big controversy?
The nuke.
No. That was COD 1.
COD 4 is the nuke.
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
so what was Modern Warfare 2's big controversy? It's public knowledge. No Russian.
No
Russian.
Yeah.
Now, I'm only going to say this. That's where I think this will go. And you'll understand why.
You just need to play the campaign, brother. What I'm saying makes so much more sense. I haven't
finished it all yet.
Yeah, what I'm saying makes so much more sense once you see how they end this campaign.
Yeah.
That's because exactly I was a bit skeptical, and I don't like talking about things that I get from sources and all that. I like to have evidence to show people. It's quite obvious that there is something happening. Or else, if this was a 2-year cycle, truly, as people are saying it is, and apparently the Treyarch game coming after this one will be a 2-year cycle. I've seen multiple reputable people report on that besides Schreier. And Schreier's reputable. This is nothing against him. I just think he has his wires a tiny tad bit crossed, and a lot of people are confused about it. I don't think that there's 2 years of Modern Warfare. Yeah, it happens. Me and you both know it happens. All it takes is one word being different, and we think something different than what is really happening. And I think that it's going to be a full game. I think it'll have its own title. I think it's just going to be a new game. They may cut the cost on it, maybe because of these rumors. Like, people underestimate how much rumors can affect how they decide to market a game. If everybody's expecting 2 years of it, they may cut the cost.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a full game. I don't think that there is 2 years of Modern Warfare 2, as people has been saying. And even in Schreier's original reporting, he makes sure to list that there won't be a premium Call of Duty title, and he keeps calling everything premium. When they say premium, I've spoken to people on the investor team. Premium means new game. 99. You've never heard of a COD premium DLC. No, you hear of a DLC.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. And I think now I've completed the campaign and I think back to that conversation and that reporting and the whole story from Schreier, I'm inclined to agree. I think what comes out will follow on from that campaign in some fashion, because the engine's built, the character models are there. All we've got to do now is build that smaller, maybe shorter.
Yep.
You know, maybe.
And they've stated that this is like the basis for their future games for a while. Like this is the new era of COD. COD 2.0 is what they're calling it. Yeah. So, and somebody in chat brings up the same question of why I haven't tweeted about this, is because it's too many words to put into that little bit of characters.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe. Sounds like it. And what did it just say? So if it's an expansion pack, that's not a new game? ? True. But I would consider Wrath of the Lich King as a new game. It's just under the umbrella of World of Warcraft.
It maybe could be looked at like ODST for Halo 3.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Right,
I consider that as its own game, and I'm considering whatever comes next year as its own game.
That's what I called it before, the expand-alone. It starts life as a DLC, but then grows like the Forza Horizon 2, Fast and Furious, Infamous, First Light.
God of War Ragnarok. I'm kidding.
Yeah, see, you could make that same argument that this person in chat is making. Modern Warfare 2 could almost be considered an expansion to Modern Warfare 2019. All it is about the marketing. Marketing decides public perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, let's see.
You know what I
let's
want?
have that chat when it comes
I
out.
just want a Call of Duty, like full blown, even if it's a smaller expand alone, just a Call of Duty stealth sniper game that just cuts Sniper Elite's
Like
lunch.
Sniper Ghost Warrior, like that dog shit game that released forever ago. I could appreciate it. So you just want a bunch of Gillies in the Mist missions. It gets old fast to me. That's the why I don't play the Sniper Elite games.
Yeah.
No, I just want a bunch of stealth missions. And I know Modern Warfare 2 already has those, but I want 100% of the game to be just a blending of different stealth
Like
missions.
Splinter Cell type shit. You could get that because the COD writers did reveal in that interview with IGN that they want to do a Ghost origin story as the next COD that Infinity Ward works on.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
read
Ghost
that
origin
somewhere.
story.
I read that
and he has
somewhere
comic
that
books
maybe-
that defined his background, and dude, that shit is
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
Shit is
That'll
wild.
be
If they
fun.
really
I'd
do
love
if they do his OG story, it'll be one of the best COD games ever made. It'll also be one of the most
Nothing
graphic
but
and brutal.
stealth. Nothing but stealth.
That fits
That's all I want.
Ghost. That's his name.
Be
It's
so
like
good.
imagine it. Just swap his name out with John Fisher, whatever Fisher's name
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Sam
That's what he
Fisher.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sam Fisher. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Just something for you guys to think about, because I know as
Yeah,
insiders
I'm
and
gonna
stuff,
be
you guys
keeping
think
an eye
about that
out.
stuff. Ask people around. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
Yeah.
I'll run it by some of my people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Considering the way it ends, though, like I'm really like.
Don't shake
yeah.
your head, Jesse. Don't shake
Yeah, just, Nick, you really need to play it, because I wish I could have talked more about the actual ending of the game.
I've been trying. I've been trying to smash through it, like so I could get it done, but like I just had too much life stuff.
It's because you're playing it on veteran. What do you mean you're trying to smash
know.
through it?
I know. Veteran makes everything take longer.
Yes.
It makes it all. But I wanted to get the veteran run out of the way so that I could play it on easy, enjoy it, get all the achievements. Although I have gotten some of the achievements in my veteran run. So I got the achievement for killing 3 guys underwater.
Yeah.
I shot the guy taking a poop
Yeah, I did
on the
that too.
toilet.
Make sure in the
3 or 4
prison that you
achievements.
equip the riot shield and kill 3 people with it. Easy achievement.
Oh, good, because I haven't got there yet. I missed out on the safe. I found the first safe. Oh, yes, the safes. How the hell are you supposed to know the codes to those safes?
I found all 3 of them, and I should have made a YouTube video because I found them on my first run through.
The codes or the safes?
Yeah, no, both. I found them, like, I didn't use a guide
Where
or
are the
anything.
codes?
Chat didn't teach it to me.
There's clues in the
The
environment.
first safe you're going to find is in the El Nombre closet.
I found all
in the
3.
bedroom. Okay,
I
well, you
found all
found the
3.
safe. Inside of that room is a painting that has a dude's date underneath the painting, and it's the only thing that fits the number of digits. So I went and tried it, and it worked. The next
Oh my god.
The next one is up top. There's a calendar in the room you have to pry open where the second
Yes, I
safe
found
is.
that.
There's
I
a
found the
calendar, and
calendar.
you read the calendar,
Yes.
and it's October 80. And then the last
Yes.
one is inside the bottom in that garage area. On the
Yes.
desktop over behind you is the code, like on like a computer screen.
I just YouTubed it.
I
For that
see. That's
third
why I
one.
should have made a video. Damn it.
I just YouTubed it. And because I found the safe in El Nombre, and I'm like, oh, I found one of the safes. I'm like,
Yep.
oh my god, a safe. And I'm like, wait, how the hell do I know the code? I'm like, and the thing is, my brain muscle memory kicked in because I've been playing The Last of Us. So I went to press on the back button to bring up notes. I'm like, wait, this isn't The Last of Us. I'm like, how the hell am I going to get these codes? I had no idea. I got so angry because I know there's an achievement for finding all the safes. And I
Yep.
was like, oh, I missed it.
Never
Oh, well.
mind. Never
That
mind.
was my little
Good excuse to
tidbit.
go play.
Something for
appreciate
you guys
it.
to chew on.
I'll find
big-
it on my easy run.
Big thank you for joining us. Before
Yes,
we
thank
go,
you, Doug, for making the time.
Before
thanks
we
for
go,
having me.
the last thing we usually wrap out on is 2 things. One, Jesse, there was a lot of stuff, and I know our listeners are probably going to be mad that Nick and I haven't played Plague Tale, Requiem, and we haven't talked about all that stuff, but there was a lot of stuff released on the site
30
this week.
frames.
So could you
Yes,
give us
there
a
was.
rundown and then what's coming next week?
Right
on
here.
XboxEra.com? Right here.
So in the last week, I did a Persona 5 Royal. I really liked it, and that one's doing quite well. We had Plague Tale, Requiem, Them's Fighting Herds, good fun fighting game. Warhammer's Shooters Blood and Teeth, which was delayed the morning of embargo to the 25th, so it's still not out. And Gotham Knights, which I knew I was going to be one of the few who actually quite liked, but I like the Ubisoft map game type of game. So,
Yeah.
and in the upcoming week, we will have at least Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign from Sik himself.
I'm writing it right now, bruv.
Oh, are you doing it?
I'm writing it, yeah.
I was
Doing it,
actually
isn't
going to
it?
start taking screenshots and videos in case you wanted me to do it. But if you're doing it, go for it.
I've
he's
already
got it,
half
isn't it?
written it, bro. Although
And
it
we've
won't
got,
be as glowingly positive as yours.
We've got a couple
Oh,
of Game
really?
Pass games coming with Signalis, which is being done by Fairy Empire. And I am working on Gunfire Reborn, which has no embargo, so I can just say it's very fun. It also has, in the English UI, I have seen Chinese, Japanese, French, and Spanish at various times. And it has a constant running frames per second meter in the top left, which never dips below 150. So,
Wow.
On
Yeah.
Xbox.
Can you not
It's-
give
it's
Modern
pretty fun.
Warfare 2 less than 8, please?
he's at 7 right now.
Whoa.
We don't have an embargo.
That's
don't
true.
read
There is
it.
no embargo.
Can you not give it less than 8, please? It's a fantastic campaign.
I am going to play through.
You haven't watched any cutscenes. You don't get to give a score.
And I still find it amazing. And I haven't
don't get
watched
to give us-
any of the cutscenes.
Yeah,
Actually,
let me
I
sway
did
You're
you.
go
not
back.
eligible.
I
I
I
did
give
go
it a
play
9
back.
out
through
of
more
10.
and
Like I
reviews.
said, the story is a 6 out of 10, but the gameplay is overall what matters most to me.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the
Thank
gameplay's
you.
Great. The
I
gameplay's
did
great.
go back and I watched the cutscene because everyone was like, dude, that's a pivotal cutscene you just missed. So I did go back and
Yeah.
watch the cutscene that links to Alone. And I was like, okay, now Alone makes more sense. Now that
Yeah, you're
I've
like,
watched
why
that
is
cutscene."
everybody dying around me?
I'm like, why is my guy limping and he's like been shot and like what's happening? I'm like, what is going on?
I will say
mean,
this, no spoiler for you, John, but a big part that was a down part for me that made me give it a 9 instead of a 10 or like a 9.5 even is the tank. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Just
yeah.
horrible. The whole thing was horrible.
It was
Just
just
the
badly-
way, yeah, you
badly
can't
designed.
build something up like that and then let it end the way it did. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
like it didn't even get to like.
There was no cathartic. Yeah, I just wanted to fucking just rip his eye sockets out and everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'm with you. I mean, for me, it's it's the bits it does well. It really excels at, but some of the newer bits are just a little bit too shaky. But I'm
Yeah.
going to play it through after the discussion we had at the beginning of the show. I'm going to play through another 3 or 4 levels, start it on realism, and see if it changes how it feels to play, and then I can incorporate that into the review. So
I might try
we'll see where I
realism
land.
after my easy run.
Try
Get all the
realism and
achievements,
just
get
try to
everything.
adapt. Just try to adapt
Yeah.
and see if the game feels like it was meant to be played like that. You might enjoy it
Yeah,
more.
I'll do my easy run, find all the achievements, get my 1,000, and then just sit back and maybe do a realism run and see what it's like. I might do that.
Yeah, if
But
you
we'll
want to
see.
tune in at all tonight, I don't know how busy you are, John, but I'll be playing
this
realism.
is good because this is the second part. So please, Doug, pimp out where people can find you, including
yes.
tonight.
So most people do not know, but I also have a personal Twitter account that I've been working on for a while. After I'm done with Modern Warzone, I plan to be a content creator for the foreseeable future of my life. And I don't plan to cover COD news exclusively forever. So Doug Dagnabbit, DougDagnabbit on Twitter is my personal. You can also find me on YouTube at Modern Warzone. You can find me on Twitter at Modern Warzone. I plan to really try to do a lot better about my YouTube stuff. Like I would like to do a video that I've really been working on and about a quarter way done of like writing the scripts for is I want to do the full history of Call of Duty. And I wanted it to end with this Modern Warfare and talk about all the crazy shit that's happened from most people don't know, but in 2003 when Call of Duty 1 came out, Steven Spielberg is the reason that game happened because he went out and asked would Saving Private Ryan, he wanted a video game that would be as realistic as Saving Private Ryan. And Infinity Ward is who got that phone call. So there's a ton of cool stuff about the COD series that I want to do and document. But basically you can find me on Twitch at Modern Warzone Live. That's the only one that's different from Modern Warzone is Modern Warzone Live. The Modern Warzone on Instagram is not me. That guy's a hack and has been copying me for a long time. So
I've just seen your Twitter feed. Your dad standing up playing it.
Yeah, I'm looking at that as
that was
well.
me walking by. Yeah, he's in there going ham. He walked in here with like some fucking fried chicken and some mashed potatoes. That's why I like.
Is he playing on a 1S?
Yes, he. I can't get him to upgrade. That's the first
Aw,
time he's ever worn a
no.
gaming headset. I had to like go in there and put it. And if you look, there's the Mavic chair I was talking about right next to him. I took it in there so you could sit on it.
Don't
And he
let
was
him
like,
play on
I don't
a
need it.
1S.
Fucking Robert Bowling responded to the tweet and was like, I hope that you're not, you get him a bigger TV at least.
Not a 1S.
That's amazing.
That's great for him, man. He plays that. The last time I saw him play, I randomly came in 3 months ago and he was playing COD 2, the campaign.
Wow. One of the best CODs. So
I love the first reply to the tweet. That's literally the meme of when he got out of the chair and walked up to the TV.
I thought the close air mission was pretty neat. Brilliant. Oh, well, Doug, look,
you know what? I actually need to play it on Series S to see how it looks and runs, just to see how much it's holding
really
everything back.
Compared to what I saw on my screen, it's dog shit, but it's still beautiful dog shit. But compared to what's on my screen on this $4,000 thing, this looks 10 times better.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm
Doug,
very curious.
absolute blast having you on, mate, and really enjoyed all your insight into Modern Warfare and all things COD. Been a pleasure, my man. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Has been.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for reminding me about several things that I care about outside of my business. I'm super excited about Dead Space and Callisto Protocol. Super excited about. Halo. I did not even know that the Halo Forge mode was coming, bro. I gotta slot some time in to get some custom games with my community in on those maps, because man, some of the best memories you'll ever make in your life are playing Halo custom games. Don't miss the opportunity to play some custom games with friends when you get a chance.
I hope it goes well for them on launch. So we'll soon see. And big thank you to all of the community for hanging out and watching.
Yes.
I'm off this week. It's half term this week in the UK, so I'm off with my kids. So I should be able to get the show out tomorrow on all of the usual audio platforms.
If I can have the timestamps done on time.
If he can have the timestamps done on time.
I'll try and have the timestamps done.
I'll look to have the Modern Warfare 2 review drop maybe Monday, Tuesday, something like that.
God, I can't wait to play that game some more. I'm going to play a little bit now before I go, because I'm going to be out again today. So I'm going to try and play some more.
Go and enjoy.
Okay.
I'm playing Realism tonight. It's going to be great.
Should be fun. I'm going to tune in and check. Are you playing it on Twitch tonight? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be playing on Twitch.
I'll check it out. See how it's meant to be played. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to see me rage. I'm at the hard parts now.
Oh, okay. I'll keep an eye out. But everyone, have a great weekend. Whatever you get up to, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.
That was.